2 years ago, Charlton did it the hard way, winning a thrilling playoff final against Sunderland to spark wild scenes of joy. But their first taste of Premiership football was a bitter one. They managed only 8 wins, not enough to preserve their status. However, the new millennium has seen a new look Charlton. Alan Curbishley's side have broken records galore, and with promotion there for the taking, it is almost party time again. Well, 4 months ago, the Dome was the centre point of the nation's Millennium celebrations. A win for Charlton tonight, and there'll be nationwide celebrations for all those connected with the Addicts, because 2 points is all that stands between the league leaders and a return to the Premiership. But at every party there is the risk of a gatecrasher, and this lot are out to spoil the occasion. Steve Bruce's Huddersfield 6th at the moment, by no means assured of a playoff place, so they need something from tonight's encounter. Live on Sky Sports 3 with interactive coverage for Sky Digital viewers on Sky Sports Extra. Will tonight be the night for Charlton, or can the Terriers bite their ankles and make them wait just a little bit longer? Of course, Alan Curbishley is refusing to concede publicly, at least, that Charlton are guaranteed promotion, but he knows, and we know, it is only a matter of time, and Huddersfield's poor away form suggests it's going to be sooner rather than later. The former Fulham manager Paul Bracewell is with Nigel tonight. Ray is away with Chelsea this weekend. Now, Paul, before we talk about this evening's game, I must ask you about your departure from Craven Cottage. Did it come as a major surprise to you?
Yeah, it was a shock, but I can look back on fond times there. Had a great start to the season and 2 great cup runs, and left the club with hopefully a chance of getting the playoffs.
Any regrets about taking the job in the first place, bearing in mind what actually happened?
No, I knew it was going to be a difficult job when I took over. You know, I did my apprenticeship under Peter Reid at Sunderland, and then we were working with Kevin, but a real good set of players and good staff as well.
Critics will point to the lack of goals from the team. What was the reason for that, do you think?
I think injuries didn't help, but I think if you look at our record, we've kept, I think, 35 goals, which is as good as anything in the league. And if you get the goals up front, then obviously that's the formula for success, which is what Charlton have done, and will continue to do so. Did
you think the timing of your departure was a bit strange? Because then, and still now, Fulham have a chance of reaching the playoffs, don't they?
Well, that was out of my hands, you know. Like I said, I enjoyed my time there, but those decisions are made in football.
And you still want another job now, despite what's happened?
Yeah, I enjoyed my time there, and I'm looking for another job.
OK, that's a bit of an advert for Paul, if anyone's interested. Let's look at tonight's game. You've seen Charlton in the flesh a couple of times. What makes them the best side in the division, do you think? Like
I just said there, I think with the record at the back, they've kept things tight, and they've got players up front who can score goals. And I think with the experience they had last year, the Premiership, I know as a player, you know, you've had a taste of that success, and they want to make sure they go back there again. It is exciting times for them. Of course, for Huddersfield, Nigel, equally important times. They are poised in the right place at the moment, but they can't afford to slip up, can they?
This game tonight and the running is most probably more important to Huddersfield than it is to Charlton. Charlton are up there and away from everybody else. I mean, another 3 points and they're promoted, another 5 points and they're champions. So for Huddersfield tonight, they need to get something out of this game. A win would be great, but a point against the supposed champions would be good for them, because they've got Wolves breathing down the neck, they've got Bolton breathing down the neck, and an outside chance for Fulham still.
Let's have a look at the First Division table. Starting at the bottom, Swindon could go down tomorrow. They're at home to Tranmere. Port Vale entertain Barnsley. Walsall face Crystal Palace, who aren't out of the woods. Crewe take on Queen's Park Rangers. West Brom are at home to Bolton. And Nottingham Forest, still not clear themselves, well, they travel to Birmingham. Up top, Fulham, 8 points short of the playoff places at the moment, have home advantage against Sheffield United. Wolves go to Norwich. Wolves currently 3 points behind Huddersfield with an inferior goal difference. The Terriers will go above Birmingham tonight at least if they win. Ipswich are at Stockport tomorrow. Manchester City travel to Grimsby, at which point the Charlton players may just be coming to terms with their hangovers if things go according to plan. OK, let us remind you how the Addicts have forced themselves into such a commanding position. Charlton started the season determined to go straight back to the Premiership, and a Clive Mendonca hat-trick on the opening day against Barnsley gave them the perfect start. There was an early setback though. 3 games in, they went down by the odd goal in 3 at Fulham. That left them in 9th place, their lowest position of the whole season, as it turned out. 4 straight victories, including this one against Birmingham, made sure Curbishley had his team where he wanted them. Back on top, Greg Shields, the unlikely match winner. And a win also seemed to be on the cards at Ipswich when Andy Hunt put them 2-1 up. But goals from David Johnson and Mick Stockwell turned the tide the way of the Suffolk side. And when Birmingham gained their revenge at St Andrews, Charlton had managed only 1 win in 4. But a 3-game winning streak followed, culminating with the thrashing of Grimsby, and that took them up to 2nd behind Manchester City. Joe Royle's side came to the Valley 8 days later, and a Sean Goater goal made sure they left 3 points better off. Another home defeat at the hands of Blackburn had the alarm bells ringing. 1 win in 6 was hardly promotion form. And a long-term injury to Clive Mendonca didn't exactly raise morale. A Boxing Day fixture against local rivals Crystal Palace proved the turning point. Martin Pringle's winner started a run of 12 straight league wins. Among those, a 3-2 success at Wolves. John Robinson, one of the men on target. And that took them back to the top of the table for the first time since mid-October. Despite that though, Curbishley felt they were missing Mendonca, so he bought Matt Svensson from Crystal Palace for £600,000. He made his debut against Stockport, but Curbishley didn't need him or Mendonca. Andy Hunt was the hero with his 2nd hat-trick of the season against County. A Dean Kiely error halted their winning streak against Swindon, of all teams. Next up was a visit to Manchester City in another of our live games.
Bishop. And he's played Goater in! Wonderful goal! Robinson, and it took a deflection!
Curbishley then further strengthened his strike force by signing Paul Kitson on loan from West Ham for the rest of the season. He came on as a sub against Crystal Palace and promptly scored the winner. Only 3 wins were now needed to go up, and more London opposition followed in the shape of Queen's Park Rangers, who succumbed to a late Scott Parker strike. A draw at Port Vale preceded the trip to Nottingham last weekend. Andy Hunt put them in front, but a Chris Bart Williams penalty kept the promotion party on hold. Well, the graph says it all, at or near the top throughout. Still with more wins than any other team in the country. Third highest scorers in the country behind Barnsley and Manchester United. Only Fulham and Manchester City have conceded fewer, 1 fewer to be precise, and they've let in only 2 in their last 9 at home in all competitions. Andy Hunt is not only Charlton's leading scorer, he is the First Division's leading scorer, and the likes of Mendonca, Robinson, Stuart and Rufus have been pretty useful in front of goal as well. Of course, Mendonca has been out for so long, and you just wonder, Nigel, if Clive Mendonca had stayed fully fit throughout the season, what more might Charlton have achieved?
Well, I mean, he's been injured most of the season and still scored 9 goals. And Andy Hunt, 24. The other strikers who have played, Svensson hasn't really scored, I think he scored 1. Pringle's only scored 4, and they've really relied on defenders and midfield players to get their goals, like John Robinson. If Mendonca had stayed fit,
could have been
heaven knows how many they would have scored. But I think they're just hopeful that he'll be fit for the start of next season, and gives them that boost for the Premiership. Plenty of goals in him.
Well, in that story, we saw Fulham beating Charlton early on. So if there is some vulnerability, where is it?
I think the biggest thing is they've kept the players together. They have added the lad Kiely at the back who's kept things tight, but keeping those players together, having had that taste and added 1 or 2 quality players as they've gone along. You know, we beat them early on this season, but they've ride that storm, and like you said, they've stayed in the top sort of 4th, then 1st, right the way through. So I think the most important thing, Alan will be delighted that he's kept the players together.
So basically there is no vulnerability then?
No, I don't think so. I think it's always disappointing when you get relegated, but if you can keep your players together, like I've said, and bounce straight back, which they've done, hopefully.
2 more points is all they need. An 8 o'clock kick-off at the Valley this evening, and it won't surprise you to hear it's another sell-out crowd, just over 21,000. One thing that Alan Curbishley wants to do is build up the ground. He says if they're to become a force, or even just a stable Premiership side, they have to have an attendance of around 25,000–30,000 at the Valley. That's something he wants to do in the future, but for now it's just over 20,000, and every seat in the house is taken tonight. After the break, we'll discover how 2 of the Charlton players, John Robinson and Chris Powell, took time out yesterday to make it a really special day for some very special Charlton fans. Coming up for you tomorrow night, Michael Carruth and Adrian Stone fight for the vacant IBO light middleweight title. It's tomorrow from 8, only on Sky Sports 1. Right now it's all about Charlton and Huddersfield at the Valley. Encouragingly for Alan Curbishley and co, Charlton have won 7 and lost only 1 of their last 9 league games against Huddersfield. The Terriers only winning that time coming on the opening day of the 96-97 season, when Darren Bullock and Andy Morrison were both on target. Huddersfield's last win at the Valley was way back in December '83, when Keith Hanvey and Colin Russell scored in a 2-1 win. Derek Hales scored for Charlton that day. And if you want more facts and figures about tonight's or any of the weekend's games, you could check out the Stat Pack on Sky Sports online at skysports.com. Right, let's get all the team news from the Valley with our roving reporter, Alan Bentley.
Thank you and good evening, Marcus. Let me tell you straight away that Huddersfield have big problems up front. 2 lone players have failed to make it. That's Alan Armstrong and Michelle Ngongi. They're injured, and no Martin Smith either. So it's Chris Hay who comes in. More on them in a moment or two. But let's have a look at Charlton Athletic for you. No great surprises. In fact, they're unchanged. In goal, Dean Kiely. He needs 1 clean sheet for a club record. He's been promoted from Division 3 with York, Division 2 with Bury. Can he complete the set? Paul Bracewell, he mentioned the continuity at Charlton. In fact, a real hardcore this side has been here for some time, including the likes of 5 Richard Rufus and 12 Steve Brown. He, in fact, the longest serving player. In midfield, another 2 who've stuck around for some time. 8 Mark Kinsella, a 5-year deal he signed last summer, and 11 John Robinson on 49 career goals. And the main goal threat, well, you'd expect that to come from number 9 Andy Hunt, but in fact just 6 of his 24 goals have come here at the Valley. What about Huddersfield Town then? Well, keeper Nico Vassen, he was player of the year last season after just 9 clean sheets. He's kept 17 this season, so probably the freedom of the town beckons. 3 at the back, number 4 Craig Armstrong, 5 Chris Lucketti and 38 Ken Monkou. Now the last 2 have had all sorts of injury problems. Lucchetti's suffering a broken leg, but since his return, Town have lost just 1 in 10. Another who's done well since returning from injury is 22 Chris Beech. 3 goals in the last 5 from midfield, and just as well really given the problems up front, where 11 Clyde Wijnhard has just 1 in the last 17, and alongside him, as I said, the new boy Chris Hay at 18. In fact, though, he played for Swindon in their unlikely victory here, so it's a motto there for the club. And I just wonder, Steve Bruce will hear from him on the injury situation. But the champagne here at Charlton is very firmly on ice, Marcus.
And I'm sure you'll have the first glass of it later on tonight, Alan. Chris Hay, of course, could have a very successful double if he achieves a victory with Huddersfield tonight, having done it with Swindon so recently. Interesting to see that he cost only 70,000, Nigel, and yet Swindon had to pay 330,000 for him from Celtic.
Well, I think that just shows the unfortunate state of Swindon at the moment in the terrible financial problems that a club can come in. It's a bit like the Crystal Palace situation, really, where they're selling their players off very cheaply. But Steve McMahon had a good buy there, taking him from Celtic, and he scored plenty of goals for him, and then he had a couple of injuries, hernia injuries, was out the team, and then he struggled in and out of the team at Swindon this year. And I think Steve Bruce has just thought, well, I need someone to add us a little bit of strength up front if we get a couple of injuries as they've got, and he can come in and score goals like this. He's a very, very cool finisher.
Yeah, 10 in 33 for a struggling side. That's not a bad record, is it, Paul?
No, it's good. And like you said, Steve's gone out and got a little bit more experience, and hopefully, they've got injuries now. You do need a big squad.
OK, well, Charlton are, of course, unchanged. Their push for the Premiership hasn't been the only thing on the players' minds. The club's commitment to community activity continued this week when Chris Powell and John Robinson took time out from training to join a group of children from the Season of Promise scheme. Now, the programme, which involves all 94 nationwide league and conference clubs, offers the disadvantaged and underprivileged the chance to meet their heroes. Alan Bentley found out more.
John, first of all, tell us about some of the things that are going on here today.
Well, with Nationwide, they've had a donation to the club. It gives the opportunities for the youngsters with disability to come down and have a little session with the community, have a look at the facilities and meet some of the players.
I know the club works very closely with the local community. Tell us some of the things that have gone on, some of the innovations.
Well, basically, we've got a local school at Charlton Village called Charlton Park. We've provided season tickets for those children to come and watch us this season. That's been going on for a number of years. We also have an email address for disabled supporters to access to. So, they're part of the things, and it's good that we get the youngsters at a young age because obviously we're looking towards the future, and it's good that we can provide facilities and bits and pieces for children like those today.
Is it sort of helping take the minds off tomorrow night as well, the Huddersfield game?
I was just about to say that, yeah. It does a little bit, but it puts everything in perspective.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a football match and 22,000 supporters will be coming down to cheer us on and everything, but things like this puts things in perspective, and without Nationwide's contribution, things like this couldn't happen.
It was a game against Huddersfield just after Christmas, Chris, that sort of kick-started the second half of the campaign, wasn't it, with a goal from this fella?
Yeah, he had a special day, John, that they created the first goal. He does very well in front of the Sky cameras, actually, so he scored a fabulous goal. I would say that's our goal of the season so far, yes. Unless I score one.
Hang on a minute.
Yeah, that doesn't happen too often, but that really, we've looked at our results over the past few months, and really that Huddersfield game, it was a difficult game. They were going very well. We were fourth at the time. And really, I think we stamped our authority on the game that day, and I think we showed other teams that, we could respond and get up in the top two, which we've done for, most of the year.
Now, you were, of course, never present last season. Are you looking forward to going back and proving yourself once more in the Premiership, personally and for the club?
Very much so, yeah. It's the league everyone wants to play in, and we're no different. But what we did say as a side, we didn't want to fall into the trap that when you get relegated, you sort of don't really respond in the right way. And I think we've done that. We've bounced straight back, and unfortunately for teams like Forest and Blackburn, they haven't done. And you've got to adjust to this league, and we've done that very well, and we just got to make sure that we clinch the remaining points we need, and hopefully we'll be back in the big time.
And John, we're looking at something like this today. The sense of community within Charlton spreads to the players, because there's a number of you who've been here for years now. You're one of them. Does that help the club, do you think?
Yeah. Continuity does help it. If you're staying around, and it's just, as I said, you've been here 7 years now, and it's, the facility here they had, because obviously they didn't have a ground, and then it's just see how the club's grown and progressed, and it shows when we went down last year, only one person went, and that was Danny Mills. The rest of the squad stayed together, and it's, as you say, it's things like this that at the end of the day, with, as you say, with the money that's contributed, everything else like that, it goes in the right way, from community all the way up to the board. It's all progressed over the last 7 years I've been here, and hopefully we'll keep on progressing.
Well, good luck, and we're going to see you get involved now.
I think so. I think we're doing a little bit. I think. Good luck. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I was at the training ground yesterday. Those two did a terrific job, and there's no doubt those children thoroughly enjoyed their afternoon. And it's quite right that Charlton have such a good reputation when it comes to community events. 200 of their supporters have been marching today from Charlton House, the former home of Charles I, to the Valley. They're all local children. It's a campaign to kick racism out of sport. They've dressed up for the occasion. They received plenty of support along the way. Very progressive club all round, Charlton, Nigel.
It's great to see the local community. It's great around Charlton. They're bringing all these kids in. They make a lot of noise as well, which is great for the team. But it looks like they all go along and enjoy it. And it's great. Other clubs do this as well, but maybe not to the extent that Charlton do. But it's great to see the underprivileged kids getting their heroes coming down and coaching them a little bit. You know, things like this charity and the Youth Sport Trust and places like that. It's great to see them get involved, and the footballers do give their time. This is the side of football that sometimes people forget that they do, and they go into local children's hospitals as well. It's good to see.
Yeah, you were saying before we went on air tonight, Paul, that Fulham are also very involved in their local community.
Yeah, we try and get involved as much as possible, and I think, like Nigel said there, the players enjoy it as well, which is the most important thing. They go along there and give their time, and it's a very important part of the football.
OK, let us continue our build-up to tonight's game, Charlton and Huddersfield at the Valley. Time for the lowdown on Huddersfield's season since the back end of last year. Steve Bruce started December with a smile after being presented with the Manager of the Month award for November, and his grin grew broader when a Clyde Wijnhard goal secured a 1-0. What has gone wrong in the second half of the season?
Well, they've come good recently, but I think in that run, just after they lost to Charlton, I think they took 7 points from 30. And that saw them slip from second down to fifth, and then it's been a bit of a battle for them. They've had a lot of injuries as well, as to be said, and Marcus Stuart has gone, who scored 15 goals for them, which you take those 15 goals out, and those tight games, maybe like against Birmingham when it was 0-0, you need someone like him to come up and pop a goal in for you. But Steve's had to change it around a little bit, but they've hung in there. But they're finished to the season. The remaining fixtures are very tough for them.
Well, after tonight, they have Bolton at home, then Port Vale away, Stockport and Fulham away, final game of the season, Paul. That'll be an interesting one, won't it? Yeah,
we were talking earlier that there's no easy games in this league, as that proves, you know, and I think it'll go to the wire for the remaining places, you know, to get into the playoffs.
And I suppose in some ways there's more pressure on Huddersfield than many other teams because they've been there or thereabouts all season. It would be something of a disaster if they slipped out in the final couple of games.
Yeah, I think you say Steve Bruce, John Dean have done a tremendous job there. Obviously they had to sell Marcus Stuart for a lot of money, as we say. Maybe the finances aren't there that they thought was going to be there, but they've hung in there all season, and to drop out at the last minute would be terrible for them, but they've still got a chance. If they can get something from this game tonight, and then they've got 2 home games which they're capable of winning because they've got a fantastic home record, and then pick up something away from home, especially that game against Fulham, the last game. They need something in that.
Well, we are nearing kick-off at the Valley, 8 o'clock this evening. Charlton poised to celebrate in style if they can secure the win they need for promotion. But you know, despite being 11 points clear with only 5 games to go, Alan Curbishley is still remaining cautious.
The reason we're not celebrating anything is the fact that, you know, if we failed now, it would be a catastrophe.
More live golf coming up for you tomorrow morning. It's the second day of the inaugural Sevi Ballesteros Trophy, Europe against Great Britain and Ireland in a Ryder Cup-style tournament. It's featuring the likes of Darren Clark, Lee Westwood, Sergio Garcia, and of course the 2 captains, Colin Montgomery and Sevi Ballesteros. Coverage from Sunningdale continues tomorrow morning from 8 o'clock on Sky Sports 3 with the scores level at 4-all. We're in South East London tonight for Charlton and Huddersfield, and there are those local children who've made the walk from Charlton House to the Valley, fully resplendent in their colours and flags and drums, making a noise, having a great night out. I only hope that having walked all the way from Charlton House to the Valley, they've got tickets to get in and see the game. Otherwise, those cheers will very quickly turn to tears. I'm sure they have. Otherwise, I suppose they can just walk all the way back to Charlton House again. Yeah, good exercise for them. Bookies are in no doubt. Charlton 7-4 on. They've lost only 3 times at home this season. Huddersfield with not the greatest away form in recent months anyway. They're 9-2 and the draw is 9-4. Now, the signing of Ken Monkou was hailed as something of a masterstroke early in the season. He joined Huddersfield on a free transfer from Southampton, quickly made an impression at the heart of the Terriers' defence. Injuries have sidelined him for much of this year, but he returned to the starting line-up last week and is fit and raring to go tonight. He's been speaking to Alan Bentley.
Let's start with the easy ones first, Ken. Can Huddersfield still go up?
7 games with medial knee ligament damage, and this hamstring and Achilles trouble as well hasn't helped his season. But Nigel, we saw him just after he joined Huddersfield, I think at Portsmouth in a live game, and you were really impressed with him that day, weren't you?
Yeah, I think he's a tremendous centre-half. It's just a shame that for Steve that really he's been injured for so long, and Chris Lucketti, who he bought as well, broke his leg. The 2 centre-halves, your 2 main centre-halves, so Huddersfield have done well to continue competing. But Ken, big stopper, he throws himself in the way, but he's very good at set plays as well in the opposing area. So Charlton have to pick him up tonight, especially, most probably Rufus will pick him up, but he's done well wherever he's been. Southampton, he did well for them. Chelsea, I know he did well there by all the reports I got from there. So you know, he's going to be a big player in their end of the season. He's got to make sure he keeps fit and plays well.
But defensively, Paul, he's likely to have his work cut out this evening, isn't he?
Yeah, because I mean the record tells you with Charlton going to score goals, but I'm sure Steve's delighted to have him back for the remaining games and give him a good boost. And like Nigel said, not only at the back but on the set pieces as well.
Well, I'm sure he's going to enjoy performing in front of another big crowd at the Valley. I was mentioning earlier that Alan Curbishley wants to increase the capacity there, but those supporters who are bobbing back to the Premiership have made a lot of noise this season. It is one of the great arenas, certainly outside the Premiership, and if they could build it up behind those 2 goals, Nigel, and get maybe 35,000 in, week out, the potential in that part of London is enormous, isn't it?
Well, once that roll keeps going, more and more people want to get there. I mean, it gives everybody encouragement, because Charlton nearly went out of business a few years back. I mean, I can remember playing there in my Bournemouth days in a cup tie at the Old Valley, you know, where it was deserted really. I mean, I think it used to hold something like 70,000 there. But the stadium's good, it's a good atmosphere, and if they can fill in the corners, I mean, Charlton can stay in the Premiership and build on things from there, because they have a very good local community, as we've seen already.
Well, of course, everybody outside the Valley is absolutely convinced that Charlton are going to secure promotion this season. But, as I discovered yesterday, manager Alan Curbishley is still remaining extremely cautious.
I think that, you know, the reason we've not celebrated anything is the fact that, you know, if we failed now, it'd be a catastrophe. And, you know, we've had this gap to contend with, the points total there. And so, you know, we've been focused on everything. You know, we've not celebrated anything, as I said earlier, but if we can do it, and we've got an opportunity to do it tonight, if we can do it, then you'll see some celebrations.
Has it been difficult to keep the players' feet on the ground, knowing that they've been so close for so long?
Not particularly, because, you know, I think in that run we had, you know, winning 12 games, on the spin, fantastic achievement, and perhaps never to be beaten again, you know, never seen again, especially at this club. But we never really, we just finished the game and got off and focused on the next one. You know, I think that we've had that fear of failure. That's why we're a little bit reserved, but now it's so close, you know, I don't think anything's going to change until we get there.
Now, Huddersfield tonight, and in many ways it's perhaps a more important game for them than for you.
Well, you know, we've had this press build-up and leading up to tonight's game, and no one's mentioned Huddersfield, you know, which is not right at all. But they're top 6, and, you know, our run, if you like, started at Huddersfield around about Christmas time.
That magnificent goal from Robinson.
That's right, and you know, I think if Huddersfield had won that game, they'd have gone something like 8 or 9 points clear of us. It was a very important game for us. We've gone from strength to strength, and Steve's managed to keep his side in there. You know, perhaps Huddersfield this year wouldn't have expected or have overachieved, if you like, but they're there. And I know that we've got a tough game on our hands. Their last 5 or 6 results have mirrored ours. They've had a decent run, and they're a good side, and we know we've got a game on our hands. And perhaps the press and everybody else have forgot Huddersfield, but we haven't, and we've worked hard this week, and hopefully we'll be okay. But I don't think it's such a bad thing that we're playing against a side that needs the points as much as us.
And what is it going to be like for you, Alan, when you finally achieve promotion, will it beat the events of Wembley a couple of years ago? Will it be the highest point of your career so far?
Well, I think that it will never. I think winning promotion this year won't perhaps beat what we've done before, because what we've done before was perhaps against expectation. You know, and it was a fantastic achievement. But I think this year's achievement and performances should rank next to that, because we've had a different pressure put on us, a pressure that none of us have had before. That's expectation pressure, and we've managed to cope with it so far. And lots of people have perhaps looked at myself and looked at some of the players and look at that miserable lot, and you know, they've gone and won this game and they're not that happy. But it's only because we've been totally focused, because you know, they came back in the summer and we sat down and we said we need to do this, that, and we've got to get there. And so far they've managed to do it.
Well, from our point of view, could you please get promotion tonight and then become champions in the next live game against Portsmouth on Good Friday?
Well, I read an article on Monday that it's all been planned by Sky and Rupert Murdoch, and if it was all that good, then would have wrapped it up like 2 or 3 weeks ago, because forget the live games, we just want to get across the line, and I'm sure if we can get across the line, the place will be a little bit more relaxed, and 1 or 2 of us can celebrate a little bit, but we've got to get across the line first, and there's a small matter of Huddersfield, and if it ain't Huddersfield, Portsmouth, and then the next game.
Well, he keeps having to check himself, in public at least. I mean, you managers are all the same, Paul. He knows they're going up, but I suppose you can understand publicly at least he can't admit anything yet, just in case the horror story occurred.
Yeah, I mean, but you can tell in the interview there, he's so focused, and like you said at the start of the season, he sat down with the players, and different type of pressure this year, but they've done tremendous well. And like I said earlier, with the players staying together, and also the crowd, you know, the support stayed with them as well. And they've had full houses as well. A lot of supporters might have gone away when they got relegated, but they have stuck together, and you know, full credit to them.
He had a chance or two, I believe, to leave a year or 2 years back. Yep. He was linked with a number of big-name clubs, Nigel, but I suppose he's delighted that he stayed, and certainly the board and the fans love him. Of that, there's absolutely no doubt.
It shows what a good job he's done there. I mean, he's been there for 7 years. You know, joint manager with Steve Gripp for a couple of those years, and then he's worked with the likes of Les Reed, Keith Peacock, Mervyn Day. He's had good people to work with, but in the end, the pressure and the buck stops with him. And to really bring them back from the disappointment of getting relegated last season, he's done a tremendous job. And as Paul says, he's kept the nucleus of that squad together and added a little bit to it. And that shows that he's done well in the transfer market as well. And he just loves Charlton, I know that, and he wants to see Charlton go places. So, you know, if they continue the progress that they've made in the last few years, he'll be there for a long, long time yet.
And I gather, Paul, that the plan is to give the players Saturday, Sunday and Monday off if things go right this evening. So the players certainly have the incentive to make sure they finish off Huddersfield and finally open those bottles of champagne. Yeah,
I know as a player, when my days at Sunderland and Newcastle, these nights tonight are very special for players, you know, and if they can get up tonight, they had a chance last week at Nottingham, but to do it in front of your home fans is very special. And you know, to be champions, it's over the whole season, you know, and you know, if they win tonight, then I think rightly they deserve the few days off.
And they've never won this division, believe it or not. Obviously, they went up through the playoffs, as Paul said. You know, they've done really well against Sunderland winning that, but they've never actually won this division. And I'm sure that Alan knows that. He hasn't mentioned it, but he knows that he wants to go on and be champions, and they'll be the best team in this league. That's the champions win it.
Well, Steve Bruce wants to be a party pooper. We can now hear from the Huddersfield manager, who's talking to Alan Bentley.
Steve, I suppose if ever there was a party that you needed to poop, tonight would be it, wouldn't it?
Oh, it certainly is. You can detect the atmosphere, can't you? They're ready to celebrate, and rightly so. You know, they've proved that they are the best team in the league. Been an unbelievable run. So it's, but we'd love to spoil the party, as you say. Yeah.
It was a heck of a game at the McAlpine, and arguably the turning point for the two sides, wasn't it?
Well, we really didn't turn up in the first half. That's for sure. I think we're hopeful that we're better tonight. Second half, we did a bit better. But you're right. They went on for an unbelievable run, just at the time when everybody felt the bits for me. You know, so. Yeah, you could say it was the turning point for both, yeah.
But as it goes, at the moment, you've lost just 1 in 10. I think a few people have forgotten that, haven't they, at the moment?
Well, we've done very well. We've got our big players back at the back, at the centre of defenders and all the rest of it, who have been missing for a long, long time. They've come back in and made us that bit solid again and a bit reliable again. And but now we're strikers are falling a bit.
I mean, how frustrating is that at the moment that the likes of Alan Armstrong, Michelle Ngongi, one or two others, Martin Smith, are all out at the moment?
Well, that's the frustrating thing, because obviously now with the big games coming up in the running just there, you obviously want everybody fit. To have something like 8 players missing tonight through injuries is deeply frustrating, but there's nothing we can do. We've got to roll our sleeves up, get on with it, and try and get something here tonight.
I mean, how close are they to coming back, some of those players you've mentioned?
Well, unfortunately, all muscle injuries, so you can never really tell. Alan Armstrong pulled a hamstring yesterday a little bit, and he was sore. Ngongi's did his calf, and Smithy's did his hamstring too, so we're hoping that Smithy will join in on Monday, so he could be back just for the right time.
But perhaps a good omen, Chris Hay, who's likely to play. I mean, of course, he played here for Swindon the other week when they won.
Yeah, isn't he? That's what he tells me. So yeah, I mean, we're delighted that we could bring in a couple of players like that, you know, because obviously with the injury situation you have, you need a big strong squad, especially what we're going for at the minute.
How do you play tonight? Do you go for it tonight, do you think?
Well, I'll always go for it. It's pointless coming just trying to defend. I hope we just do that properly and try and win the game. That's the way it should be played.
Thanks for talking to us. Cheers,
Thanks.
Steve.
Cheers.
So Huddersfield are going to be positive, which is very promising from a neutral point of view. Paul, I imagine you can sympathise with Steve Bruce. You know a fair few things about injured strikers, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, like Steve said, he come to this time of the season where you want everybody fit. He's got lads back at the back, but not at the front. But as he's rightly said, we've just looked at the table. They need to go and win tonight, and obviously Charlton want to win. So I'm looking forward to a cracking game and plenty of goals.
Yeah, they're 3 points in front of 7th place Bulls with a superior goal difference. What do you think is going to happen tonight? Stick your neck on the block?
You've got to go for Charlton for a win, but I think there'll be plenty of goals in it.
OK. Nigel?
Well, I think it's going to be close, because if you look at Huddersfield's away form, it hasn't been that good, but against the big teams, you know, the Nottingham Forest, we saw them live on Sky, 3-1 they won. Man City, they beat 1-0. Wolves, they beat 1-0, so I think it's going to be close tonight, and it's one of those games which Alan Curbishley thinks, well, crikey, at home in front of our own supporters we're supposed to put on a display. But I think they will do it, like Paul, I think they will do it tonight and get it out of the way in front of their own supporters, and they'll be cheering them on to the last. So I go for a narrow victory for Charlton.
You're both going for Charlton. I have to say, Nigel, I was speaking to our old friend Steve Claridge today on his way up to Blackburn with Portsmouth. He is convinced that Huddersfield are going to get something out of this, and he knows a little bit about forecasting matches, doesn't he?
Well, as long as he's not betting on it.
He isn't. He stressed that he wasn't betting after his little visit to the FA this week. OK, don't forget, this game is interactive. Sky Digital Channel 404 gives you Sky Sports Extra, which includes The Revolution. A very interesting collection of musicians gathered by the side of the pitch. Will they be beating the promotion drum by 9:45? We're about to find out in the company of Alan Brazil and Rob Hawthorne.
And so the finishing line is in touching distance now for Charlton, but as their last 2 games against struggling opposition have proved, Nottingham Forest and Port Vale, a so-called easy-looking run-in never actually translates as such on the pitch. Well, the team that Charlton turn out tonight is a familiar one, unchanged from the one that came within 10 minutes of achieving promotion at Forest last week. A total of only 3 changes in the last 10 games. Carl Tyler was called upon to start twice when Richard Rufus was suspended against Manchester City, and Steve Brown was injured for the match against Crystal Palace. And for the match at Port Vale 10 days ago, Paul Kitson was preferred to Matt Svensson, but Kitson's on the injury list now, and Svensson, who came on as a substitute in Crystal Palace's 7-1 thrashing at Huddersfield in August, has since regained his place alongside Andy Hunt.
Yeah, it's pretty simple tonight for Charlton, Rob, in terms of formation. 4-4-2. Kiely in goal. Barness, Brown, Rufus and Powell. In front of Powell, Robinson, who scored a cracker at the McAlpine earlier this year. Kinsella, Stuart and Newton with his pace. And up front, Svensson and Hunt.
Huddersfield field one player who was involved in Charlton's last away defeat and another who was involved when they were last beaten here. Chris Holland played in the Birmingham side that beat them at St Andrews in October, and Chris Hay was in the Swindon side that won here a month ago. Hay makes his first start since joining Huddersfield because Martin Smith, Alan Armstrong and Michelle Gunga are all injured. Kenny Irons, who's been battling to overcome a hernia problem, only makes the bench.
Interesting to hear Steve Bruce saying, yeah, they've got to go for it. They go wing-back formation. Vassen in goal, Lucketti, Monkou and Craig Armstrong. Vincent down the left, Jenkins on the right. The 3 in midfield, Beech, Holland and Sellars. And up front, Wijnhard and Hay.
will do for Mark Kinsella and this Charlton team tonight to guarantee promotion. If it's a draw, they'll be relying on stumbles by Ipswich and Barnsley tomorrow to secure promotion this weekend, but they'd like to do the job themselves. And the promotion party, which has been on hold after draws in their last 2 away matches, can start in earnest if they get 3 points tonight. There'll be a little bit of apprehension in the air here at the Valley. Many of their faithful fans have followed them on their recent trips. Indeed, the club paid for their coach travel to Forest for the last match. And there was an unfortunate incident in that, in fact, when 4 of the coaches were involved in crashes. Some of the victims, guests of the club here this evening. But they're hoping that tonight's match will be a happy climax to a season of great achievement for Charlton, in which they've already smashed a series of club records. Dean Kiely there looking for one more clean sheet to break another club record. Difficult opposition in Huddersfield, but will it be a promotion party or a promotion party postponed? Find out as we bring you live coverage of Charlton against Huddersfield after the break.
Welcome back to the Valley, where kickoff is just minutes away in this vital game for Charlton and Huddersfield. Don't forget, Charlton just 2 points away from a return to the Premiership. Huddersfield in 6th place at the moment, 3 points in front of Wolves with a superior goal difference. But if they slip up tonight, Wolves win tomorrow, the pressure is going to be on Steve Bruce and his side over the final 4 games of the season. There is going to be a slight delay before kickoff. A minute's silence will be held very shortly for the 2 Leeds supporters who died in Turkey last week, and also for the victims of the Hillsborough disaster, that disaster taking place 11 years ago this weekend. So we will now pause while the capacity crowd of around 21,000 pays their respects for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is the 11th anniversary of the Hillsborough disaster. As a mark of respect to those supporters who so tragically lost their lives on that terrible occasion, and to the 2 Leeds fans who died in Istanbul last week, we will now like you all to stand and we'll be holding 1 minute's silence.
And as you'd expect at Charlton, a perfect response. OK, settle back. Let's rejoin our match commentators, Alan Brazil and Rob Hawthorne.
Charlton were relegated from the Premiership on the last day of last season against Sheffield Wednesday. John Robinson played and was one of 5 players to have done so. The other match that had a bearing was Southampton's game against Everton. Southampton won to stay up. Ken Monkou was part of their team that day. He is here tonight with Huddersfield. Charlton 1 victory away from returning to the Premiership after a year in the Nationwide League, and they get the game underway. Chris Powell, who's been so solid for them at left back. Andy Hunt, who's provided a lot of goals, tries to set up Svensson here. Hunt lays it back, Stuart. And here's Newton pulling it back as Charlton go on an immediate charge. They've scored in the opening 10 minutes of their last 2 home matches. Sean Newton scoring after 8 minutes against Grimsby, and in the second minute here against Queen's Park Rangers, and they've flown out of the blocks here tonight.
That's certainly the way to get the crowd behind you. Early pressure, good link play between Hunt and Svensson. Eventually Stuart missed kicks, it goes to Newton, and the cutback not good enough.
Victory will guarantee promotion and leave only Manchester City capable of claiming the First Division title, but should City fail to win this weekend, then the title will be Charlton's too. Foul on Svensson, and Lucketti, the player who's given away the free kick. Charlton left back Chris Powell is the man in the spotlight of player cam. Sky Digital viewers on channel 404 will be keeping a keen eye on him. Free kick aimed directly at goal when a lot of eyes had been focused on Richard Rufus, who'd gone forward and is a threat from set pieces. Dean Kiely, one of only 2 players in the Charlton starting 11 tonight who hasn't played in the English Premiership before, the other one being Matt Svensson. There's Powell. Kinsella. This is Craig Armstrong, who was in the Premiership last season with Nottingham Forest. And now Chris Hay on his first appearance in the starting lineup for Huddersfield. Cleared by Kinsella. Laid off towards Stuart. It was a solid challenge from Monkou. And Kinsella now picks out Chris Powell, who's got Robinson going on ahead of him. Hunt and Svensson waiting in the middle. It's Svensson! And it's over.
That's a smashing ball in the box, and Robinson will do this all day, won't he? With his right foot. Svensson just gets a touch. Can't keep it down. Very unlucky. Good ball again from Robinson on his right foot. And unlucky for Charlton.
1 goal in 9 starts so far for Matt Svensson, who has still to fully win over the Charlton faithful since his move here from Crystal Palace. But Svensson scored his first 2 goals in English League football against Huddersfield. It was when he played at Portsmouth.
Good start for Charlton, Rob. You know, that's what this packed house want. You know, they want this pressure, early goal, and it's party time.
More Charlton fans have been allowed in here to the Valley tonight by virtue of the fact that Huddersfield didn't take up their full 700 allocation of tickets. Those fans presumably hoping that they'll be saving up for a return to London on the 29th of May. They've still got another visit to the capital to come before the end of this season. They end their league campaign at Fulham. Powell's throw. There's Steve Brown. Headed back by Newton. Now Barness. Newton. It's a long delivery, but it's ahead of Svensson. Well, Alan Curbishley has really benefited from the fact that he's been able to keep a relatively settled side of late, and when players have come out of the side through injury, he's had ready-made replacements to step in. He's been without the defensive stalwart Eddie Youds since the match between these sides at the McAlpine Stadium back in December. A match in which Huddersfield also crucially lost a key defender early on, Kevin Gray, who's among the substitutes tonight. Charlton defender Richard Rufus, as ever, going forward for the free kick. It's been played short this time by Brown. Powell Powell got it back from Robinson, who was fouled by his Welsh international colleague, Steve Jenkins.
Well, Jenkins is unhappy here. He definitely catches him. I don't know what he's unhappy about. It's a clear free kick.
Powell's played it short. Kinsella driving. Vassen has kept clean sheets in the last 3 league matches. Nottingham Forest, the last team to score against Huddersfield, as indeed they were the last team to score against Charlton, but in Charlton's case that was only last week. Here's Andy Hunt, and he drove for goal, and Robinson in the middle, absolutely furious at what he sees as the striker's selfishness.
Right, you see Robinson's reaction. He does like a whinge, but good play from Svensson here. Gets a vital touch. Hunt's on his way. Track Robinson's run. Is he offside if he gets it? I think he is. But Hunt hits the side net, and crucial mistake across the keeper would have been the better option.
Well, with Hunt's striking record this season, 24 goals, you maybe wouldn't blame him for having a go, but Robinson clearly felt then that he was in the better position and was livid with his teammate. Monkou. It's Rufus. It's Chris Holland. Stuart to Robinson. And Armstrong caught by Matt Svensson.
One thing about Svensson, Rob, is to caught Armstrong. He is a physical type player.
Here's Svensson again. Barness. Richard Rufus, who scored his first career goal the last time that Charlton won promotion in the playoff final at Wembley. Ball in by Svensson towards John Robinson, who's done well to hold on to that. Well, he created the effort for himself magnificently.
So certainly a lively start to the game from Robinson. Svensson does well. Comes inside, hopeful looking ball, but watch this for a touch of class. The ball bounces, Robinson over Lucketti, drives it only a yard wide. Good effort, Lucketti stranded, on his heels, Robinson with the right foot volley, controls it well, keeps it down, just past.
Scored in the last 2 away wins against Huddersfield for Charlton, John Robinson, including that splendid effort at the McAlpine back in December. Wijnhard, the Huddersfield strikers, haven't really been able to get into the game as yet. Charlton have kept their opponents compressed back in their own half.
There's a prospect of a nice weekend off, Rob. They're going for the throat, aren't they?
It's a big incentive for them, with a full weekend to recover if the promotion party can get into full swing with a victory here tonight. Svensson. Well, it's evident there from the statistics just what a positive impact Charlton have made at the start of this encounter. Alan Curbishley, though, won't relax until that initial breakthrough has been made. Steve Bruce's team have been resilient at the back of late. Almost 6 hours since Huddersfield conceded their last goal to Marlon Harewood of Nottingham Forest. And Steve Bruce hasn't really changed the defence around too much. Did reintroduce Monkou at the expense of an unlucky Kevin Gray, who's amongst the substitutes tonight. It's in the striking department where Huddersfield lately have been found wanting. Monkou, though, has missed his kick this time. Hunt has to bide his time, because Newton was a little late in getting into the area. Hunt, touch on towards Robinson. Cleared by Armstrong. Svensson following through. Been quite a physical tussle between those two early on, Armstrong and Svensson. Charlton have been sweeping the board in terms of club records this season. A victory tonight would be their 28th in the league campaign, which would be another one to add to their collection. But the most important prize at stake tonight is that place in the Premiership, which has been so close for a few weeks now. Glanced off the top of the head of Richard Rufus. Just one defeat in their last 21 games for Charlton. Stuart here battling away with Holland. Swindon also the last team to beat Huddersfield. It's one defeat in 10 for them. Here's Hay. Jenkins. Beech has got in the box, and here's Jamie Vincent trying to take it past Sean Newton. But Newton does well against Vincent, who Steve Bruce has been giving rave reviews to this season. Considers him one of the best left-sided players in the division. Armstrong. Barness. Svensson to Hunt. Kinsella is up to Andy Hunt's right, but there was heavy traffic in the direction that he was going. Vincent charging in against Barness, who wins the duel. A push by Chris Beech, who again has been a very consistent player, but like Jamie Vincent, he's never played higher than First Division level. Kiely looking for Svensson with his kick. And picked out Hunt. Cleared by Monkou. Barness with the throw. Hunt. Here's Barness. In towards Svensson. Svensson again in the thick of it, picking out John Robinson. He's got the better of Jenkins this time. Jenkins continues to hassle and harry him, and in the end is so frustrated he brings him down, and he's going to get a caution as a result.
Well, Jenkins knows all about Robinson. Always trying to come back. His right foot this time gets a little bit of luck. Again, trying to get the cross on his left. He slips Jenkins, just catches his heel. Down goes Robinson, yellow card.
Being given a torrid time by his Welsh international colleague at the moment, and now Jenkins on a yellow card. Vassen takes the free kick well from right in front of Graham Stuart. That's the ever present in the Huddersfield goal this season. Made his 100th appearance for Huddersfield in the last game against Birmingham. It's the second time this season that he's kept 3 clean sheets in a row in the league, but he's never managed 4 since he's been in England. Here's Hay. Jenkins. Aware that Robinson was closing in from behind him. And the mistake by Lucketti has Robinson tearing forward here, and it's Stuart in support. Svensson! And again, blocked by the goalkeeper, and Stuart's follow-up is charged away.
I'll tell you one thing, Rob, that was a fantastic challenge from Armstrong. Brilliant challenge.
Well, Svensson really has come closest to scoring for Charlton so far, and he had a couple of stabs at that one but couldn't ram it home.
It's a smash and move, and look at the support Charlton have. The ball comes across, you think Svensson's going to get the tap in. Great defending from Armstrong. Vassen does well as well. He comes out, I think he makes a second stop. But Armstrong chucking everything at it. And Vassen with a foot, clearing. Good break again for Charlton.
Well, an example perhaps of the sort of mettle that Huddersfield are going to have to show. All the efforts so far have been Charlton's. 2 of them on target. Beech. Jenkins. And he's worked it through to Beech, who was just in a pocket of space at the edge of the area. Monkou. Sellars. Holland. Spotlight moves on player cam. Sky Digital viewers on channel 404 will be monitoring Ken Monkou now. Haven't beaten Charlton since the opening day of the 96-7 season. Darren Bullock and Andy Morrison scoring in their 2-0 victory. And since then, Charlton have won the last 4 league contests against tonight's opponents. Armstrong. Svensson. Vincent, covered by Lucketti. This is Sellars, whose experience will be invaluable, but he's given it away this time to Powell. And Powell here has linked up well with Svensson, nothing to his left, he has to go into the area. And it's Monkou who dives in with a challenge, a successful one, but always a risky one in the box. Hay on the chase for it. Rufus, though, has the edge. Rufus, who's missed only a couple of league matches during the course of this season. It's been another consistent campaign from him. Hunt. Svensson. And it's Robinson up against Jenkins again. What a drive!
Jenkins really has to start showing him outside. He comes inside, it's a pile driver. Goalkeeper pushes his right hand up as if he knows it's going over. This is not too far away. Great strike.
Well, he's always got an eye for goal when he comes inside like that, John Robinson. Capable of those really incisive moves that can rip teams apart. He's got 9 goals already this season. He's 1 short of the 50th of his career. And clearly fancies making it a double celebration by reaching that milestone and helping to ensure Charlton's promotion. Hunt this time offside. But John Robinson, now Charlton's most capped player, having won his 20th for Wales this season. Vincent's header on. Svensson. He's been pretty much all Charlton in the opening 20 minutes. And yet the concern for them is that Nico Vassen has still to be beaten. Steve Brown's header back. There's Barness. Newton. Armstrong foul by Svensson. Armstrong, who's been a regular in this Huddersfield defence since December, taking the kick towards Wijnhard. Beech knocking it back. It's Brown who clears the decks. Hunt. Holland who made the tackle. Now Jenkins. Lovely flick from Wijnhard. Beech. First effort that Huddersfield have managed to conjure in this match, and it's come after 20 minutes.
I was about to say, we haven't seen a lot of Wijnhard, but this is quality. Beech tries to hit it first time when Hay was just inside the box screaming.
Well, Chris Beech has already scored against 2 of the top 3 this season. He got goals against Ipswich and Manchester City. Huddersfield have beaten 3 of the 5 teams above them already during the course of this campaign. They didn't manage it against Birmingham, whom they've played twice. Of course, they lost to Charlton at home back in December. Svensson on towards Hunt, who scored in the victory earlier in the season. Stuart couldn't force it back across.
Charlton putting pressure on, battling for every ball. It's a poor clearance. Stuart on his right foot trying to hook it back, no good.
Concern for Alan Curbishley and Keith Peacock as the halfway mark in the first half approaches without a goal, despite the weight of pressure that they've had. Robinson gets the throw off Jenkins. He's clearly in the ascendancy in that particular duel at the moment, John Robinson. Here's Robinson again. Wijnhard to stay deep to claim the ball. Barness cut out by Armstrong. Barness, Stuart, Newton, Barness doing brilliantly, dragged it past Sellars, but couldn't produce anything meaningful with his eventual effort.
It fell nice on his left foot, but look at Hunt's position here. They just stuck that in behind the defender. Hunt was through.
A little bit more awareness then, perhaps, from Anthony Barness, and Charlton could have been in a more promising position. Failed to score just once in their last 19 matches, and that was in the defeat by Swindon. They are the second top scorers in this division after Barnsley. To take the throw. They're building up the atmosphere, emphasising the point that they're at the top of the league, but they're still not in the Premier League at the moment. Only a victory here tonight will ensure that. Here's Svensson now as he pulled down by Vincent. It was an inevitable chorus from the fans to that end. Rufus. Kiely's had a relatively untroubled evening so far. Svensson, who's penalised.
The crowd was screaming here. You can see there's a bit of arms flying about. Vincent, does he hold Svensson down? I think it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Rufus. Sellars is dribbling in brilliantly, and what a shocker for Charlton. Wijnhard has volleyed it in brilliantly, and Huddersfield, with their first attempt on target, have scored.
Well, we know Wijnhard's a touch of class. He's hardly seen the ball. One beautiful flick. We also know Sellars got a great left foot. Great ball, fantastic finish. Kiely's, well, almost his first touch out of the back of the net. That's a great ball at the far post. Charlton caught sleeping, and Wijnhard punishes. Sellars' left foot, you can't give him the time and room, and that's quality. 1-0.
Well, it's only the second goal that Clyde Wijnhard has scored since his former partner Marcus Stuart left the club. But it's really stunned Charlton. Can they respond? It's Newton! And it's blocked by the legs of Nico Vassen.
Two great chances, almost in the same area. First Hunt missed a chance where he hit the side net, and Newton on his right foot, again should be going across the goal. Good save, Vassen.
It's Kinsella who gets the corner across. Newton back to Kinsella. Done well to hold on to it. Too many bodies in front of him for him to have a crack. But he's fed Svensson, and Rufus has stayed in the area alongside Hunt and Newton. Robinson aiming to be the provider, but Huddersfield have plenty of men back as the cross comes in.
Vassen's a big tall keeper who'll come all day for those. But he's been the busier of the keepers until Wijnhard made Kiely work. With a touch of quality, beat Kiely.
Curbishley said it would be catastrophic if Charlton slipped up with the lead that they've built up. Whatever happens here tonight, they would still be very much the favourites, because it's still difficult to see their rivals winning all of their remaining games, and Curbishley is not one to panic. He'll keep his cool and trust his faith in the team that have produced the goods for him this season. Barness.
Vincent sometimes got to keep his arms down in the box. He's just giving needless fouls away. He is an aggressive player, and sometimes you just got to go for it fairly. The defender's under pressure, he climbs on the defender gets out of jail with a free kick.
Bruce must be absolutely delighted. They've had to soak up so much pressure, and yet with one break of real significance, Clyde Wijnhard has made it count. And we can't emphasise enough that a win as important, if not more important, to Huddersfield than to Charlton, because they really can't afford to rely on teams below them slipping up. They're battling to keep the Wolves from the door, just 3 points ahead of Colin Lee's side coming into tonight's game. Bruce is hopeful that 2 more wins and possibly a draw would be enough to see them up. But it's 4 wins from their remaining 5 games, including this one, that would only guarantee a playoff place. Steve Brown. Now Wijnhard. Clyde Wijnhard has really suffered of late since Marcus Stuart left. He built up a great understanding with him. And since Stuart's departure to Ipswich, he's had a variety of partners. He was just settling in with Martin Smith when he got a hamstring injury. He's since been partnered by Alan Armstrong tonight. Chris Hay must have had an unsettling effect on him, and his goal count hasn't been good recently, but he's got a vital one tonight. Stuart was reaching out for that, and it's Monkou who clears. Brown. Crosses by Powell, Svensson and Kinsella closing in on Vassen and impeding him. And the rage of Kinsella very evident.
Well, Vassen's a big tall keeper. I think it's two of them challenging. You see the arms are up across. The big goalkeeper and the referee agreeing. That's a free kick. Kinsella not happy.
Normally when Charlton want a goal, Andy Hunt has been the man to provide it. He's now subject of player cam. Sky Digital viewers on Sky Sports Extra will be watching him closely. Stuart fouled. And cheers for the referee Michael Jones, whom the Charlton fans feel hasn't given them too much in this opening half hour or so. Free kick, and everyone except Kiely inside the Huddersfield half. And Monkou's backheader almost putting his teammates under pressure there.
So this is Armstrong again. It's great defending. You see Monkou just on the side of his head. That's brilliant strength again.
To show strength there against Andy Hunt. Here's Svensson. He's worked it through to Anthony Barness. This is Newton. Hunt's header back across that Stuart retrieved, but Monkou clears. Kinsella.
I think the three centre-backs for Huddersfield tonight, Rob, Monkou, Lucketti and Armstrong, I think they're decent players, and they're going to be busy tonight.
Well, Monkou and Armstrong have both played at the highest level. Chris Lucketti, Monkou's teammate, hasn't. He is still an outstanding defender at this level. Kinsella's ball in. He was aiming for one towards Brown. Kinsella gets it back across. Sellars. Ken Monkou. Straight down the middle towards Wijnhard, and Beech was onto it. Clearance by Powell. Barness. Svensson. Sellars. Svensson.
It's a high challenge for Svensson.
Play is developing though for Charlton as Robinson cut inside. Barness. Lucketti, who was challenged by Svensson, now back on his feet. Back defending here, possibly against Newton. Offside against Kinsella, and again he's furious.
The linesman only 10 yards away from him. He's got a clear view right across the pitch. You see it as Newton plays it. That's why Kinsella was raging. Svensson again, but a little bit nasty. Studs right into Lucketti, and that could have been a shocker. Out of order.
Chris Lucketti's had one bad injury already this season. In fact, the game against Charlton, one of 22 he missed with a broken leg. Wijnhard with a touch, and Beech knocked it back to him. And had he gone towards goal there, well, he could have been him against Kiely.
I don't think Beech realised what was around him, Rob. If he knew that he was clear, surely they'd taken on his chest.
Clearly then it could have been a one-on-one for Chris Beech, who instead tried to knock it back to the striker who's already scored. Here's Wijnhard now. Hayes in the middle. What a chance that could have been.
Oh, it's a beautiful ball again from defence. Wijnhard's quick to spot the run. Why didn't he take it on his chest? Rufus was nowhere near him.
Cleared by Brown. Here's Andy Hunt. Kinsella. Rufus. Barness. Out on by Sean Newton. More action to come for you this weekend on Sky Sports. Sky Sports 2 on Sunday at 1 o'clock for the Auto Windscreen Shield final at Wembley between two second division heavyweights, Bristol City against Stoke City. Two Premiership heavyweights going head to head at 3 o'clock on Sky Sports 1 and Sky Sports Extra. It's Leeds against Arsenal. Will Charlton be back in the company of the Premiership teams next season? Here's Hunt. He's turned, and the challenge by Monkou. But it looks as though the referee's given a free kick on the edge of the area.
Well, I can't see if it's for Monkou. Hunt makes a good turn here. Well, there's a minimum contact there, and there's nothing wrong with that challenge. Well, from Huddersfield's point of view, just as well it's not a penalty being given. Very soft.
And it was Lucketti's initial challenge outside the box that was punished rather than Monkou's inside the area, but there were worried looks for a moment on Huddersfield faces. They might contest the award of the free kick anyway, particularly if it leads to something. And Svensson and Kinsella and Stuart discussing just how it might do that. Kinsella tries to place it and places it over.
It's a central target. Vassen's a big keeper. There's a massive gap there. Always going over. Look at the size of Vassen. There's a big gap. Vassen almost behind the wall. Kinsella, well, that's a good 6 inches over.
Alan Curbishley must be wondering if it's going to happen for his team tonight. And Kinsella, his captain, hasn't scored a league goal here for some 17 months. I'm sure everyone in this team wants to be the headline grabber tonight of all nights. Could Barness be that man? Svensson. In towards Hunt, it's Monkou who got the touch to it, and it is a Charlton corner.
The one thing that worries me if you're a Huddersfield fan is how easy they're allowing Charlton to put balls in the box.
Well, Charlton are chipping away. Kinsella's kick. And Vincent with a vital header clear.
It's a goal kick. That's why Vincent's screaming. He certainly was over Vincent's head. Off the Charlton player.
Lucketti meets the corner. Robinson lashes it in. Blocked by Beech. Now Barness. This is Kinsella. Freeing Anthony Barness well. He's pulled it across. Monkou is there. Stuart. It's desperate defending at the moment from Huddersfield. They're keeping it tight. Stuart. Lucketti. Brown. Barness. Newton. Monkou lets it go. Stuart almost onto it. Svensson is, and it's saved. Svensson tries to pull it back across. It's not breaking for him tonight, though.
Just wonder how his confidence is, Rob, in front of goal. Svensson. Good ball across the box. The fall's really nice for him on his left foot. Good save from Vassen. A striker in good form, confident form, sharper. Finds the back of the net.
Charlton are building with great purpose, but they can't find that killer punch at the moment as Barness looks to free Newton, and it's Armstrong who gets back there against him. Can the Huddersfield rearguard hold out here against the Charlton barrage? Barness with the throw. Flick back towards Hunt. And cleared in the end by Hay. Wijnhard, the goal scorer. Powell covering against the run of Chris Hay. Stuart. Powell. Armstrong. Stuart. Barness clipping it across. Robinson, though, beaten to it this time by Jenkins. It's Holland with Kinsella snapping away at him. Brown. Manchester City are only 2 wins away from putting automatic promotion beyond the reach of Huddersfield, but despite having the smaller share of possession, the crucial statistic in the top left hand corner of your screen is in their favour. Clyde Wijnhard's goal reflects well on Steve Bruce's team, but also reflects well on them and is the way that they've defended against the Charlton pressure. To chop and change his defence earlier in the season. It's with his strikers that he's had injury problems of late, the Huddersfield manager. Now what can Kinsella deliver here from the free kick? Kinsella looks to plant one in. It's too long and it's cleared by Wijnhard.
The groans of the crowd told you it was a poor ball in. As if Huddersfield are weathering the storm and still sharp on the break.
Kinsella. Brown. Foul by Monkou. Newton. Done well to free himself, to get it across. It's just beyond the reach of Andy Hunt.
It's the dead ball line, lovely here on his right foot. He's looking for runners. The Vassen, big tall keeper. Nice height for him.
Still the majority of the 15 attempts are Charlton's, but still the one on target is the only goal. limited stoppage time remaining. Beech. Now Holland. Driven against Rufus. It's Holland again. This is Vincent. Suddenly Huddersfield pouring forward, sensing another opportunity to add to their lead. Maybe, just maybe, the promotion party will have to be postponed for another week. Wijnhard's goal is the difference between the two teams as they go off for the break. But Alan Curbishley's team have had the vast majority of the possession and the greater number of attempts. But Huddersfield's only one on target has been made to count by Wijnhard, who's got his 16th of the season after a great delivery from Sellars and a wonderful low volley past Dean Kiely. Well, the Huddersfield fans jubilant. Charlton wondering what they've got to do to score here. It's Charlton 0, Huddersfield 1 at half-time.
European football returns next week with two UEFA Cup semi-final second legs. The much talked about Leeds Galatasaray game is on skysports.com TV from 7 o'clock next Thursday evening. And on Sky Sports Extra from 7 you can see the second leg of the game between Lens and Arsenal. Half-time at the Valley. They're a little bit subdued because of that great ball from Sellars. An even better finish from Wijnhard. Huddersfield in front thanks to their only effort on target. 13 attempts from Charlton. Alan Curbishley must be banging his head against the dressing room wall at the moment. Let's hope he doesn't bang it too hard. The one booking, Steve Jenkins of Huddersfield. Action areas and possession say it all. Quite extraordinary, and yet the home side are losing. Paul Bracewell is with Nigel Spackman this evening. It looks, Paul, as though it's going to be one of those nights for Charlton, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a cracking game. The tempo, Charlton start great with chances, but then Huddersfield have got to nick one on the break.
What does Alan Curbishley say to his side, Nigel? They've done absolutely everything except score a goal.
All he can say is keep playing the same way, but make sure we're a little bit more solid defensively because they got caught out for the goal. It's poor marking, as we see coming up. But other than that, Charlton play so well, and it looks like one of those nights when they're never going to score.
Yeah, certainly from a neutral point of view, a Huddersfield goal was probably what was wanted. And sure enough, here it comes. But as you say, Nigel, Alan Curbishley will not be entirely impressed with his defensive unit.
No, first of all, it's a great ball from Scott Sellars, but Wijnhard pulls away far post. Steve Brown doesn't go with him. They get caught out there. And he's just got, well, it's a hard chance, actually, on a side-foot volley on his weaker right foot. But a fantastic finish, but he pulled away. And Brown's normally a full-back, and he's actually played him onside as well.
You were purring about that Scott Sellars ball, weren't you, Paul?
Yeah, I played with Scott, and you know, if you give him time, he will pick players out, which he did do there.
So many chances for Charlton. Let's have another look at some of them. Matt Svensson pops up on more than one occasion. Early on, was that him or the defender who gets the final touch?
I think the defender actually gets the touch there. Craig Armstrong, good defending, but Svensson was in there, and if the defender hadn't got there, it might have been in the back of the net.
John Robinson was screaming at Andy Hunt, Paul, after he went for goal, but Robinson was offside, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously on his right foot only, but he's, you know, if he hits the target, it goes in. But the crosses have come in from Robinson and Newton, all tonight, and Robinson again with a great chance, you know.
Yeah, good skill though.
Yeah,
flicks over
he's
Lucketti's
really
head
up for it, isn't he, Robinson, tonight?
Yeah, he is. But Charlton were up for it. But unfortunately, they have all that pressure to go and score, and then Huddersfield go away and score, and that can happen in football, and all credit to Huddersfield.
You mentioned before the game, Nigel, that Matt Svensson has been struggling for goals. He seems to be lacking just a little bit of confidence in the key area.
I think all strikers really, it's about confidence and putting the ball in the back of the net, and those half chances, if you're confident, go in the back of the net, but he's only scored one goal for Charlton so far.
And here he is again, the cross from Newton, and Stuart there, Paul, just gets a rather inadvertent touch, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the keeper's done great there on two occasions. He stood up well and palmed it away, you know. But they defended great, and you know, they've gone and broke and got that goal, and you know, the lads at the back will make it difficult for Charlton to try and get an equaliser and then try and go and win it.
Can you see Huddersfield holding on in the second half?
It's going to be difficult, but they've set the stall out. I think it looks cracking second half coming up. I
suppose the fans, if the equaliser doesn't come, Nigel, are going to get just a little bit restless, and this great party atmosphere could turn into something of a wake.
Well, the crowd will get restless, but the players will. I mean, you saw Mark Kinsella getting wound up there and John Robinson. But I think it has to be said that Huddersfield have defended the back three, Lucketti, Monkou and Armstrong, have defended very, very well. The midfielder worked hard in front, and Nico Vassen, when he's been called upon, has played very well. So at the moment they're very solid defensively.
So Huddersfield leading. All Wolves fans who are watching will be rather gutted about that, especially the manager Colin Lee, because of course Huddersfield are only 3 points in front of Wolves at the moment in 6th place. Can they hold out? We'll find out very shortly. Three live games on Sunday, beginning at 1 o'clock on Sky Sports 2, with the Auto Windscreen Shield final between Bristol City and Stoke City. Set-out crowd at Wembley for that one. Super Sunday from 3 on Sky Sports 1 and Sky Sports Extra features Leeds and Arsenal, both desperate to finish in the top 3 in the Premiership, of course. And from 6 on Sky Sports 3, it's Motherwell against Kilmarnock. So far this season, Huddersfield have managed 5 away victories, including wins at Wolves and Manchester City. Can they make it number 6 at Charlton? They're halfway there. Let's rejoin Alan Brazil and Rob Hawthorne.
And the closer it gets, the harder it gets for Charlton, and Clyde Wijnhard's goal might just keep the corks in the champagne bottles for another week. Mark Kinsella will be in the spotlight of player cam. Sky Digital viewers on channel 404 keeping a close eye on the Charlton captain. Of course, Charlton could lose tonight and still be promoted this weekend if Ipswich and Barnsley fail to win their matches. But I'm sure they would prefer to do it in style. And they've certainly had enough chances to be ahead in this game. But Scott Sellars set up that wonderful goal for Wijnhard, and Svensson of Charlton has squandered several opportunities. 2 of his 3 attempts have hit the target, but none have ruffled the back of the net. Wijnhard's fellow Dutchman Monkou with a free kick, flicked on by Hay. Here's Hunt. Steve Jenkins with the throw. Lucketti. Rufus. Now Holland. Brown's header away. Back from Monkou. Rufus. Still only 25, Richard Rufus, already played over 200 league games for Charlton. Product of an excellent youth system that they have, and the likes of Parker and Konchesky just starting to come through there on the bench tonight. With a difficult programme to come, including a trip to Blackburn, which explains the presence of Graham Souness here at the Valley tonight. Portsmouth to face before that here next week. Ipswich still to come to the Valley, and Charlton's programme closes at West Brom. They've already reached a club record tally of points for the season, 89, beating the 88 that they achieved when they were promoted 2 seasons ago in the playoff final. But will those 89 points be enough on their own? Didn't quite land for Newton, but as Robinson lashes his shot in, the referee had already blown. Huddersfield themselves haven't been out of the top 6 since the end of October. But Steve Bruce's team have had Wolves breathing down their necks. And a win would put some daylight between the two sides. Crossed by Jenkins. Huddersfield held to goalless draws in their last 2 matches coming into this one tonight. But it's Charlton who need to find a bit of potency now. Barness, forced back by Vincent. Here's Powell. Huddersfield looking to defend doggedly. Robinson challenged successfully by Jenkins. Lucketti and Svensson have had 1 or 2 spats during the course of this evening. Powell. Hunt with the touch. Armstrong tidying up behind. Here's Hunt. Looking for Barness to get forward, and he's succeeded in doing so. Vincent had to stay back there to guard against Newton, who now takes on Armstrong.
Too many goals with his left foot. Newton coming inside, drills it low, but again Vassen in the right spot.
Sean Newton got both goals in the 2-1 win against Huddersfield here 3 years ago. He also got one in a victory by the same score back in September '95. I'm sure they'd take a 2-1 win now as things stand. 5 minutes into the second half, Charlton still to get themselves level in this encounter. And here's Newton again, with Barness forward in support. And here is Barness, again that little drag round that we saw in the first half before his wayward left-footed effort. Powell neatly hopping past Jenkins and delivering with a cross towards Svensson. And a shot over by Sean Newton.
It's a shame, it was a great ball from Chrissy Powell. Jenkins committed himself, Powell was fast to the ball. Brilliant cross from deep, this is with his left foot. Svensson just gets a nick on this, which allows it to fall to Newton, but that's woeful, the right foot strike. I think the burst in the back of the net, the touch is good, it falls right, off target.
Well, they hope to be soaking themselves in the dressing room with champagne, do Charlton, with their promotion ambitions still to be fulfilled. But at the moment, Alan Curbishley and Mervyn Day and the players just getting a soaking from the fine rain that's falling at the Valley here at the moment. And they've been unable to respond in kind to Clyde Wijnhard's goal. Alan Curbishley already concerned, it seems, about time wasting by Huddersfield. Sellars to Jenkins. Holland lets it go. Powell. Hunt. In comes Svensson. Robinson to Barness. Robinson trying his luck on the right flank. Newton's joined his colleagues in the middle, and it's headed behind by Sellars. Switch might just pay dividends. Kinsella's kick into no man's land as far as Charlton are concerned. It's Wijnhard who's got it away. Jenkins. Rufus. Newton having to try and shrug off Jamie Vincent. Robinson. Again it breaks down, and it's Holland who stepped onto it. Hay up ahead through the middle. Now Jenkins links up. Hay just beaten to the punch by Steve Brown. Overcommit here, Huddersfield. More red shirts in evidence. Monkou has joined the attack there. It's in towards Ken Monkou. Beech. Holland! Thumping drive wide.
It's not far away, and he can't hit them as well. It's a beautiful ball into the near post. Holland unmarked at the edge of the box. Comes out to him nicely, nice height with his right foot, going for the top corner, just an inch wide. Beautiful strike.
Finally registered his first senior goal at the 103rd attempt in Huddersfield's colours against Nottingham Forest recently, having failed to score with all of his previous clubs at Newcastle, at Preston and at Birmingham, with whom he was subjected to that playoff heartache last year when he missed the crucial penalty against Watford, which is why he's desperate for another crack at the playoffs this season. He might well face his former club in them. Steve Bruce may well be facing his former club Birmingham at that stage of the season too, but no chickens being counted yet. Beech. Cleared by Kinsella. Svensson. Robinson switching back out to the left. Hunt. It's Graham Stuart. Newton's made a run for him, but he's looking instead for Andy Hunt.
Couldn't get off on it.
Jenkins. Wijnhard going for it, but Kiely having to keep his eye on it. Kinsella. Powell. Well, Charlton have dropped 4 points in their last 2 matches. Draws at Port Vale, which was a scrappy game, and against Nottingham Forest, where they felt a little hard done by, particularly the dubious nature of the late penalty they conceded. Anthony Barness gave it away. Wijnhard here trying to ensure that more points go astray for Charlton and attempting to boost Huddersfield's own promotion aspirations. Wijnhard there picking out Steve Jenkins. Here's Holland. Jenkins into Hay. Hay tries the chip.
This time, but he's capable of this, Chris Hay. To good feet, suddenly for once he gets turned on his right foot. It's a delicate angle, no problem.
Well, 1 goal was enough for Swindon to beat Charlton here when Chris Hay and his colleagues were at the Valley a month ago in Charlton's last defeat, their only defeat in their last 21 in the league. Will Clyde Wijnhard's goal be enough for Huddersfield? Another defeat for Charlton at the Valley would mean that they'd suffered their last 4 consecutive losses here at home. This is Hay. Manchester City, Blackburn and Swindon have all won here since Charlton last lost on their travels at Birmingham back in October. Foot of Sean Newton raised too high The referee, Michael Jones, liking. Craig Armstrong with the free kick. Powell. This is Jenkins. Holland. Stuart. Here's Rufus. Kinsella. Chris Powell. Jenkins. Brown attempting to keep it going here for Svensson. Newton and Hunt both waiting patiently in the box, and Stuart arriving too. But arriving fractionally too late.
It's been a little bit ragged. Svensson slings a hopeful one in. Stuart arriving late, can't get there.
The Charlton fans are doing their bit to keep the atmosphere positive here. The band are trying to keep up the rhythm off the pitch. It's a case of trying to find the rhythm on the pitch. They're still beating the drum hard and loud. Again, Alan Curbishley frustrated at the amount of time, as Mike Jones indicates to him that he's aware of that. The amount of time that Huddersfield are taking over the throw. Sellars. Beech. Stuart wants to get that one forward. Vassen takes the calculated gamble, getting it away from Hunt. Good pressure though from Charlton. Svensson kept up there against Monkou. Jenkins. Jenkins, neat ball into Holland. It's Powell who blocks the cross. Digital viewers watching interactive coverage can now follow Scott Sellars. He is the focus of player cam. A little bit off the ball going on between Mark Kinsella and Clyde Wijnhard, who never really smiles too much on the football field, takes it all very seriously, and is getting involved in a bit of aggravation with Powell and with Kinsella now. Refereeing diplomacy solves the problem. And immediately it's Wijnhard up against Powell again, and they charge in en masse on Clyde Wijnhard. Brown and Robinson both going in on him, along with Powell.
He's just holding it up, and look at the bodies, 4 of them going for him.
Just becoming the latest Huddersfield player to try and stall Charlton's rhythm, and really, as good professionals, they've got to do everything they can, I suppose, to hold on to what they have got. Free kick curled in by Sellars. Charlton have been fully wound up by Wijnhard, who again gets himself involved. This time with Steve Brown, but gives away the free kick on this occasion.
Brown's got his arm round him, he's just trying to hold his ground. There's clearly a little bit of need of that.
couldn't make the back pass. Andy Hunt had cut off the route back to Nico Vassen. Well, Scott Parker had a great impact after coming on in the last home game against Queen's Park Rangers and scored the winning goal. He's coming on now to take the place of Sean Newton. 19 years of age, Parker. It was his first senior goal, his 21st senior appearance in that last home match. And it's a crucial time for him to come on. Now Wijnhard has pushed his luck too far this time, and he's being booked for his trouble.
He's always second best to this. Clear shot on Brown. The referee just tried to defuse the situation.
Blotted his copybook now, Clyde Wijnhard. He scored the goal, but he's got a yellow card against his name now. Kinsella delivering a low free kick, but again the referee had spotted something off the ball. And he's calling Ken Monkou out of the crowd.
You see it's a tussle with Rufus. Rufus barging into Monkou. I'm not sure Monkou should be booked.
Parker attempting to deliver.
But maybe the ref just ticking them off.
Michael Jones, when he's refereed these two teams this season, has presided over victories for Charlton against Norwich and for Huddersfield against Swindon. Rufus. Svensson. Now John Robinson, with Parker going up on the outside of it. Kinsella. Appealing for handball against Sellars. It's Parker who gets it across, and Stuart gets the direction of the header all wrong.
Finds a little bit of space here, Graham Stuart. He just mistimes it.
Years this weekend since Graham Stuart scored on his debut. How Alan Curbishley would love a goal from him now. That debut was against Crystal Palace for Chelsea. He's been used to playing in the top flight for most of his career as Graham Stuart, and he, like the rest of the Charlton side, agonisingly close to getting back to the very top echelon. But at the moment the champagne has been on ice for so long, it's threatening to pass its sell-by date. Here's Beech, and again!
It's a real threat going forward, Chris Beech. It's a lucky little break here, but what a good strike this is. Kiely sprawling to his left-hand side. Unfortunately for Charlton, wide. Great strike.
Monkou. Barness. Rufus. Hunt. Clyde Wijnhard for the throw. Barness with the cross. Parker. Barness. Parker combining with Hunt. It's Stuart who's taken over. Cross from Robinson. Oh, Monkou almost headed into his own net, and it comes back off the goal frame.
Good Dutchman. Need a bit of luck sometimes, and boy, does he get it here. Good ball in the box, Monkou. That's incredible. Bounced a good 6 yards out. No hesitation, the referee saying it crossed the line well away, but how lucky is that?
Ken Monkou, a mightily relieved man. Huddersfield's lead is preserved as the crossbar saves him from the embarrassment of an own goal. Alan Curbishley side again. So close to getting the goal that would at least give them an opportunity of winning this match and claiming the victory that would secure their second promotion in 3 years. Armstrong's kick. Hunt. There's Powell. Cleared by Monkou. Stuart. Going back to Richard Rufus and putting him under pressure with Wijnhard and Hay both there. And he deals with it in majestic fashion. Parker. There's an offside flag up here anyway against Clyde Wijnhard. Wijnhard had scored 1 goal in 17 games before tonight. But with 20 minutes remaining, he's made the crucial breakthrough here. And Rufus now having to be on his guard against his latest strike partner, Chris Hay. Here's Kinsella. Barness to Parker. Foul by Beech. Parker who delivers with a cross and it glances off the head of Armstrong for the corner. Minutes left. Charlton have been stalled in this second half by Huddersfield. Kinsella takes the corner from well out of the arc. That's the problem when the linesman's on the other side. Parker hits it and it comes off his own man. Kenny Irons is going to come on here for Huddersfield. He's had this nagging hernia problem, Irons. He's coming on now to take the place of Scott Sellars. But it's a delicate balancing act for both Irons and the Huddersfield management. They know the problem is going to need surgery. If he has it now, it will rule him out for the remainder of the season. So they're hoping to get a training and match routine together that will ensure he's available for the end of season matches should they make the playoffs. Hunt. And with Scott Sellars having gone off, John Robinson takes over as the subject of player cam. Sky Digital viewers on channel 404 can watch him closely. Here's Chris Powell with the throw-in. Lucketti's header away. Steve Brown. That's Monkou. Beech. Rufus with a header away. Brown. Now Parker. Svensson. Svensson. Stuart. Blocked by Holland. Well, they're consulting on the Charlton bench with a substitution looking a distinct possibility. There will be Charlie MacDonald, the young striker, to come on. Well, nothing to lose and everything to gain by throwing an extra striker on. It looks like this man, Chris Powell, will be sacrificed. Rufus. Powell. Parker. Now Powell. Challenged by Lucketti. Jenkins. Slides Steve Brown. It is Powell going off, and young Charlie MacDonald coming on, a player who scored on his full debut against Queen's Park Rangers in the FA Cup. And Chris Powell, who played every game in the Premiership last season and was only substituted twice in the top league, goes off wondering if he will have to wait another week to ensure that Charlton are back there in the big league. MacDonald offers hope perhaps of them getting something out of this match. Wijnhard. Jenkins tussling with Barness, who's switched to the left side to cover for the absence of Powell. Monkou. Robinson. Svensson. It's Kinsella. It's Monkou who runs it out for the throw. Away by Craig Armstrong. And Huddersfield just halting the flow again. No great hurry to make the change inevitably, but Simon Baldry will come on. Facey is the man who makes way for him. Well, he may have gone off, but this could well be a notable double for him. 2 victories at the Valley in the space of a month. Stuart. Svensson. Stuart getting it across, and Hunt's effort going straight at Vassen.
Glorious chance at the far post all along. He's had a great season, Andy Hunt, but this time straight at the keeper. Just going to sleep a little bit here, Huddersfield. Hunt doesn't really connect with his left foot. Easy for Vassen.
16 of Andy Hunt's 24 goals this season have come away from the Valley. He scored just once in his last 7 home games. Hasn't really had too many opportunities tonight. The majority of the chances have fallen to his strike partner, Svensson. Monkou. Holland. Kenny Irons. It's Jenkins. This is Brown to Stuart. Strong challenge by Parker that's left Jenkins wounded and in no hurry to get back up.
It's a straight chase. Jenkins just gets there first. Parker a little bit late and high.
Huddersfield doing the professional thing, letting the seconds run away. Adjustment in the position of the free kick as Lucketti leaves it for Monkou to take. Wijnhard beaten to it by Brown. Don't forget the Auto Windscreen Shield final live on Sky Sports 2 on Sunday. Our coverage starting at 1 o'clock for Bristol City against Stoke City, followed by a mouth-watering clash in the Premiership, Leeds against Arsenal, Sky Sports 1 and Sky Sports Extra Sunday from 3 o'clock. Here's Wijnhard. Beech had made a break through the middle, but it's Parker who shuts Huddersfield's goal scorer down. 10 minutes remaining here. Charlton 0, Huddersfield 1. And remember, defeat would at least postpone Charlton's confirmation of promotion. For it to happen this weekend, they'd be depending upon Ipswich and Barnsley to lose or draw their weekend games. Here's Andy Hunt. MacDonald had torn into the middle, but Monkou got back ahead of him. And MacDonald, who's come on for Charlton, I think still to have his first touch. Barness. Hunt. He's won the free kick, given away by Holland. And it's Kinsella who's taken it. Now MacDonald gets into the action. Crossed by Barness. Cleared away as far as Parker's header.
For a minute here you thought maybe Vassen's having a problem. Parker, he attacks this well, Parker. But Vassen's got his angles right, always wide.
Urging a momentous effort from his team in the closing 10 minutes. Remember, they were 10 minutes away from securing promotion last week at Forest when the opponents were awarded a penalty. Here's Kinsella. And it's Vincent who slides in. But it will be a crucial win this for Huddersfield. A couple more wins after this and surely their place in the playoffs would be secure. It's Baldry who's emerged with it. Lucketti beating Hunt to it. And the use of the arm by Scott Parker. The crowd have done their best, but one or two despondent faces now starting to appear amongst the 20,000 or so that have come to support Alan Curbishley's side tonight. They came anticipating a party. And instead they might be going away wondering again about what might have been. Jenkins. Brown. Here's Barness. Looking for Svensson. It's Hunt. Couldn't get enough on it to feed Robinson, but Vincent has stumbled. Robinson's got two in the middle, and well taken by Vassen. He had Hunt and MacDonald converging on him, but his hands were secure.
John Robinson normally picks someone out here, but the big goalkeeper's been excellent throughout this match. Robinson can't quite get the byline. And what's important for Huddersfield, Vassen hangs on to him.
successive clean sheet in the league for Nico Vassen. Baldry. Holland. Beech. Neat flick on that. Svensson could be through.
The moans of the crowd tell you. Suddenly Svensson bursting through. Jenkins can't reach him. Straight at Vassen again.
Well, they tend to do things the dramatic way, Charlton. Their playoff final win against Sunderland 2 seasons ago was evidence of that. And despite the apparent comfort that their margin afforded them, they're doing things the hard way, Alan Curbishley's team. Just look at the dominance that they've had in front of goal and yet still haven't been able to convert it into a goal. Stuart. Rufus. Armstrong who gets it away. Hunt. It's Stuart. Lucketti clears the lines. Away by Monkou. Kinsella to take the corner. 7 red shirts in the penalty area here for Charlton, and Parker waiting at the edge as well. Rufus gets up! Magnificent stop!
Well, again, the ball's not in the arc, is it, when he takes this corner. Rufus makes a good header, 6 yards out. Great save.
Kinsella turns it back across again. Really has been pushing his luck with his positioning of the ball from those corner kicks and getting away with it. Baldry. Barness. Really did well to claw that Rufus header out.
So 6 yards out, a nice height, beautiful stop from the keeper. He's been excellent tonight, Nico Vassen.
Svensson. Robinson. And Svensson again! Saved once more by Vassen. Flick on by Stuart. Parker! And Vassen judges it just right this time to let it float by. And a towering performance from the Belgian.
I think he's enjoying himself. A good ball from Robinson. Svensson suddenly in the box. Left foot, tries to place it. Good stop. It's not our night, maybe Alan's thinking.
Alan Curbishley and a goalkeeper alongside him, Mervyn Day, wondering if they're going to be thwarted in their hopes of gaining promotion tonight by a goalkeeper. The opposing goalkeeper, Nico Vassen. Stuart. His layoff sees things break down. He attempts to retrieve it. Beech. Now Baldry. Now Holland gets it across to Wijnhard. Well, I was wondering there if Holland would do the professional thing and run it into the corner, but instead tries to play him for a second goal.
You see Wijnhard's in front. Barness, that's the problem. That's why he played it.
I wonder how happy or otherwise Steve Bruce will be with Holland's decision. to play it across rather than take it into the corner, particularly if Charlton makes something of this response. Vassen's outstanding performance in the Huddersfield goal earns him a bottle of champagne tonight. He's the nationwide man of the match. But again, it looks as though the champagne for Charlton's promotion will again be placed on ice. Barness. Hunt with a knockdown. Lifted in by Parker towards Svensson, and again Vassen gets enough on it. Lifted in by Barness this time. It's Lucketti who's behind it. Wijnhard, he's got Baldry up ahead of him if he can stay on side, and he hasn't managed to do so.
The ball's played, isn't he, his own half? He certainly is. It's a crazy decision.
Barness. MacDonald. Not Svensson's night. But Alan Curbishley might just be given hope by the fact that 4 minutes of stoppage time have been indicated. So I wonder if Huddersfield's time wasting may count against them, and if Charlton will be lifted by that. Steve Bruce is wondering where the extra 4 minutes have come from. More opportunity for delay as the free kick comes off Kinsella. No hurry for Jenkins in taking the throw in. Beech tried to hold it up, but it's actually stayed in play here. Parker, MacDonald, Svensson. It's behind Parker. Holland mops up. Beech. Tidied up by Brown. Now Svensson. Parker lets it run this time to Graham Stuart. Is the breakthrough to occur so late here for Charlton? Robinson will keep on battling to the end, but it's come off him last. And despite his protest, no question of that, goal kick. Looks like another wait for Alan Curbishley, another anxious day looking at results from elsewhere tomorrow. Steve Bruce won't be so anxious about the weekend's action, perhaps, as his team are putting a little more space between themselves and Wolves. Catching the ankles of Steve Jenkins. Shrugging off Stuart. It's Beech who's clipped it on. Lyons. It's Vincent. Brown. Monkou. Cleared by Kenny Irons. Barness. Now can Hunt make some room for himself? It's Svensson who delivers in there, and Vassen for once got caught behind the crowd. Kinsella. Brown. Charlton throwing everything forward in a desperate attempt to get an equaliser here. It's Kinsella. Always going wide of the mark, and their last chance may now have gone. Alan Curbishley aware of that. Looks as though time is up for them for tonight. Charlton fans for whom this has been a great season of success, being forced to endure agony. And again the promotion party is on hold. Alan Curbishley's team beaten for only the 7th time in the league this season, but what a healthy boost this is for Huddersfield's ambitions of reaching the promotion playoffs. Clyde Wijnhard's first half goal, enough for the visitors to record an outstanding victory. And Charlton, for whom there hasn't been too much going wrong this season, are just finding the final nut hard to crack in getting that victory that would ensure their place back amongst the Premiership elite. They had their chances to cancel out that Wijnhard effort. Yes! A notable one from a Charlton defender in the form of Richard Rufus, who brought an outstanding save out of the man of the match, whom Wijnhard is congratulating there, Nico Vassen in goal. But Vassen was almost beaten by his own defender, Wijnhard's fellow Dutchman, Ken Monkou. Grateful to see a back header in that second half come back off the underside of the bar. That would have cancelled out Wijnhard's first half goal, but instead it's the Huddersfield fans who are celebrating, and the Charlton fans contemplating a nervous afternoon in front of their television sets and Soccer Saturday tomorrow, I'm sure, waiting for the scores to come in from the matches involving Ipswich and Stockport and Barnsley and Port Vale. So another nail-biting weekend looms before Charlton come back here to face Portsmouth next week in the hope of tying it up. They thought that perhaps they were in for a celebratory weekend, but Vassen played his part in ensuring that that will not be the case. Wijnhard's goal separates the sides. A wonderful cross from Scott Sellars and a brilliant low volley from Wijnhard. The only effort they managed on target in that first half. But a decisive effort it was from the former Leeds man. So yet again the corks stay in the bottles of champagne that remain on ice, waiting to be popped. It's finished Charlton 0, Huddersfield 1. And let's hear from the man of the match and the match winner, who are both with Alan Bentley.
Nico, a hard-fought victory. How big a win was that tonight?
Obviously a very big win. I think we made a big progress towards the playoffs. We knew that out of the 5 games we had in front of us that we had to take at least three wins. And it's a great bonus to take 1 win already at Charlton. So big win.
A 4th consecutive clean sheet for you. Is this one of the biggest of your career, do you think?
Well, it's nice to be part of it, but it's not only my... we defended brilliantly today. I don't think we had a lot of chances for ourselves, as Clyde put one brilliantly away. But just we defended brilliantly. Ken Monkou and Chris Lucketti, the 2 central defenders, just had everything away. And
or onto the bar.
Or on the bar, yeah. But happily for us, it came back out. So brilliant team performance.
You must now go on and build on this, mustn't you?
Yeah, this must be a big boost for our confidence towards the playoffs. So it would be a very big pity if we miss now on the playoffs. So 3 great points today.
Clyde, if we can bring you in, just 1 goal in the last 16, but a vital one today, and as usual in front of the cameras.
I think it was quite important today because we had a bad run, and I didn't score for a couple of weeks, and I think that one of the most important of the whole season, I think.
How difficult has it been for you losing Marcus Stuart and then playing with different partners in the last few weeks?
Marcus was a big loss, but yeah, we've got to keep going on, and we're looking forward for the playoffs. Marcus is at Ipswich now, so that chapter is over, so keep going on now. I think this one the most important thing for us this season for the playoffs.
Did you enjoy your 1 or 2 altercations with the Charlton players tonight?
Yeah, I did.
Enjoyed it?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did.
So now playoffs and camp promotion still be achieved, do you think?
I think with the playoffs everything is open, and I think if we play the performance what we did today, and in the playoff, I think we've got a good chance.
Well done to both of you. Nico, you're on Nationwide Man of the Match. You're going to take that. Well done to both of you.
Thanks very much. Thanks, mate.
Oh, Clyde was up for it and he obviously enjoyed it, didn't he? Huge smile on the Dutchman's face. And Huddersfield moves 6 points clear of Wolves. It's a real blow for those sides just outside the playoff places. And a setback for the Charlton fans who wanted to party, but will have to go home and wait at least one more day. We're back in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the Valley, where it hasn't gone according to the script, at least as far as the home side was concerned. Despite 25 attempts at goal, 11 of them on target, just 2 for Huddersfield. 1 of them counted. That was enough. 2 bookings, Steve Jenkins and Clyde Wijnhard, as the Terriers dug in to pick up 3 priceless points. Look at the action areas in the first half and the possession overall. Action areas in the second half, pretty similar as well. Charlton tried and tried and tried. They simply couldn't break through. Paul Bracewell and Nigel Spatman have been with me throughout the evening. One of those nights for Charlton, and I suppose the jitters are inevitable for them now.
Well, I think, you know, we picked Nick on as the man of the match, and I think the statistics showed, you know, 25 attempts and he's kept him at bay. But I'm sure Steve Bruce will be delighted with that. They've come there, defended brilliantly and nicked a goal on the break.
Put yourself in Alan Curbishley's shoes now, Nigel. What do you say to your players after that?
Well, you just say, right, on to the next game, really. They played very, very well tonight, but they just couldn't score. And credit to Huddersfield, who defended very, very well. The back 3 and the goalkeeper was superb, but it was a good, solid team performance once they got that goal in front. But I think Charlton run out a little bit of ideas towards the end because they were just putting the ball in there. Big Monkou and Lucketti were heading it away. The keeper was coming through and taking the pressure off. And I think sometimes you have frustrating nights like that, especially at home where the expectations are on you to win.
And Paul, you made the point before the game that Huddersfield had won at Wolves and at Manchester City. This is a pretty notable hat-trick for them, isn't it?
Very much so, and obviously that's 1 defeat in 11. So the confidence has been there, so it's a great result for them.
Let's have a word with the Huddersfield manager, Steve Bruce. Good evening to you, Steve.
Good evening.
Now, you said before the game you wanted to be party poopers, and you've played the role to perfection.
Yeah, I think we have to be perfectly honest, me defenders and especially me goalkeeper we're back to the wall stuff, but all credit to them, you know, they're a resilient bunch, and I'm proud of every single one of them. They've dug in and fought, and at times it was the Alamo stuff, but we've got the result and nicked it.
Yeah, you must have feared the worst inside the first 20-25 minutes when Charlton were throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at you.
Well, we knew that's what we had to do. I mean, we knew that there's champagne all over the place here, you know. We knew what to expect, the expectation of their supporters. We knew what they were going to do in the first 20 minutes. Obviously, we've had a little bounce of the ball at right times, but as I said before, you know, the defenders and the resilience of them have earned their victory.
You had 2 attempts at goal inside the 90 minutes, scored from the first one, and some goal it was as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, Clyde's been getting a little bit of stick just lately, and I thought he was terrific last week and didn't get his rewards. Tonight he's come onto the far post. I thought he was going to head it, so my heart was in my mouth then. But he slapped a great volley on it and smacked it in the net for us.
How important a victory is this for you, Steve?
Well, it's massive, isn't it? I mean, we've come down here and let's be fair, nobody expected us to do anything. You know, but we've been pretty resilient just lately. I think that's only 1 defeat in 11. We're not giving much away. I think that's 4 or 5 clean sheets on the trot. So just at the right time, my defenders all got fit. If that had stayed fit for the big part of the season, I'm sure we would have been 6 to 8 points better off than we are now. Yeah, and it's put the pressure on the likes of Wolves and Bolton and even Fulham and Blackburn now, hasn't it? Well, it has. I mean, it's only what you do, doesn't it? I mean, what I said to the players before is never expect any favours, you know. We have to do it ourselves. We've done it tonight. We can sit and put our feet up maybe on Saturday afternoon and watch the results come in. Charlton aren't going to blow it, though, are they? No, they're too good a side for that. Too good a side for that. They've got too many good players. I think they've proved that they are the best team in the division. I can't see them blowing it now. But this is the ideal boost for you ahead of your final 4 games of the season. Well, we knew we had a tough run in. We drew last week with Birmingham. Maybe should have got the victory. Tonight we've dug one out, but it leaves us in good stead. Yeah, we're delighted with the result, of course. OK, Steve, enjoy yourself. Have a nice afternoon with your feet up tomorrow. I'll try my best. Thank you. Steve Bruce, 3 priceless points indeed for Huddersfield. They were so good in the first half of the season, and they've proved again tonight, Nigel, that on their night they can certainly match anyone in this division. Not only match them, but beat them.
Oh yeah, their home form is immaculate, but away from home they've struggled a little bit. But as we said, against the bigger teams, they've seemed to have done well away from home. But it's notable to say their last 4 games, they haven't conceded a goal. And with the run into the end of the season, I think Steve will look and say, well, that's the biggest thing for me. I've got my main players, defenders back anyway, except my forwards have gone missing. But at least we're keeping clean sheets. They'd nicked the game tonight, it has to be said. But they defended so well after nicking the goal.
And this will have knocked the stuffing out of the likes of Wolves and Bolton to some extent, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, we said, you know, before the game that it's a hard league, you know, and there's, you know, you can't really tell. I mean, Huddersfield gone there tonight and got a great result against Charlton, and you look at the remaining fixtures, it can go either way. It'll go to the wire, definitely.
OK, we'll settle back as we reflect on the highlights. If you're a Charlton supporter, you'll probably want to bury your head under the cushions. If you're a Huddersfield fan, enjoy this. One of the great bits of defending over a 90-minute period.
Well, it was once they got the goal, but as everybody said, Charlton started so well. The first 25 minutes or so, they were very, very good. Just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Got the lucky breaks, Huddersfield at times, but Hunt puts that one in the side netting when maybe on his left foot he would have stuck it away from the other side. But all credit to Huddersfield, they battled so well, got the tactics right and held on till the end.
Interesting stat about Andy Hunt that he scored so many goals this season, but most of them away from home. There seems to be no logic about that.
Well, possibly a little bit away from home, the pressure's off, you know, when teams, and they've done teams on the break. But, I mean, Charlton tonight, they've had chances, but the keeper and the Huddersfield defenders have defended great there, putting blocks in and clearing the ball, you know.
Yeah, poor old Matt Svensson had several chances to improve on his total.
Yeah, he did, and the crowd got onto him a little bit towards the end, but as we said at the start of the programme, when you've got Clyde Mendonca out, who scored 9 goals in very few games, you know, the crowd expect strikers to put the ball in the back of the net. Hunt has done it for them, but the other strikers haven't, who have come in. Really, Pringle hasn't done it. But, you know, he kept getting in there, you know, creating chances. Huddersfield didn't have many, but Beech had a good chance where he should have taken it on his chest and had a shot where he laid it off. But this is a fantastic ball in and a great finish.
It really was, wasn't it?
I mean, Charlton will be disappointed, but you know, we said, you know, they're in a great position now at the start of the season. Yeah, they'd love to win tonight and guarantee promotion, but they're still in a great position.
Do you think that they'd now rather wait until next Friday and beat Portsmouth to go up themselves, or will they hope that results go their way tomorrow and they can celebrate without actually having to get involved?
Well, I think you just want to get up. I think they've got a little bit nervous now. They'd obviously like to go to Portsmouth, or at home to Portsmouth, I should say, and get the 3 points, but they won't mind. If the results go for them tomorrow and they're up, then they won't mind. It takes the pressure right off them.
And they'll probably go a very long time, Paul, before creating 25 chances on target and failing to convert anything.
I mean, that just shows you, in the first 20-25 minutes they've had a great spell, a little bit more luck, and they could have got a goal, you know. But I know myself as a manager, you sometimes need that little bit of luck.
I was going to say, as the former Fulham manager, this might have brought back 1 or 2 memories for you.
Yeah, I know how Alan's feeling there, but he'll be disappointed. But the lads they've had a right good goal tonight, and they've still got some more games to hopefully get there to get up.
Holland almost made it 2 then. In fact, Huddersfield had a couple of chances. Beech as well in the second half to wrap things up.
Well, I think what was happening was Charlton were piling everybody forward, trying to get back into the game, and you do leave gaps at the back. And Huddersfield had a few chances themselves where they could have maybe got the second goal. But this was very lucky, very fortunate, and that was the luck that Huddersfield had tonight, really, isn't it?
Yeah, when that happened, we kind of thought it was.
And to be fair, the keepers had a great game tonight as well, you know.
Of course, Monkou said that he deliberately planted that on the...
That's the only thing he could do to clear it.
Well, yeah, perfect bit of defending. Alan Curbishley made some changes, but it didn't make any difference, and Andy Hunt again had to score there, didn't he?
Yeah, good ball in from Graham Stuart, and you'd expect the man who scored 24 goals to put that one away, but it wasn't their night. Scott Parker's header just going wide there. Nico Vassen had that covered, and he played very well and got man of the match.
Just for a moment we thought Vassen had misjudged that, didn't we? But
it was a great save.
Then he pulls off that magnificent save from Rufus.
Yeah, like you said, he looks always coming for it, and then he's backed off. And it's a great save to push it around.
And still the chances came and went from a Charlton point of view. Svensson again, he can so easily have had a hat-trick tonight.
Yeah, to be honest there, when he's made a great save and he's knocked it down, and it's gone to the Huddersfield player to clear it. You know, other nights would have dropped to a Charlton player who just tapped it in.
I think Curbs will be happy that they've created so many chances. He won't be happy with the result and that they've not scored, but at least they're still creating the chances. It just wasn't their night tonight.
It certainly was Huddersfield's, though. Steve Bruce looking forward to a weekend off and then planning for the final 4 games, and there was no doubting Clyde Wijnhard's delight at the final whistle. And as he said in the post-match interview, he thoroughly enjoyed those contentious moments with one or two of the Charlton defenders. Well, here is the table. No change, of course, in the bottom half. We could be saying goodbye to Swindon tomorrow, depending on other results. Port Vale have a lot to do between now and the end of the season. Walsall, Crewe, West Brom, Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace still in the mire. Up top, well, Blackburn, Fulham, Bolton probably have far too much to do now. Wolves still very much in it. Huddersfield go above Birmingham for now at least. Birmingham play Nottingham Forest tomorrow. Charlton stay top, of course, with 89 points, 11 clear. But it all depends now on what happens to Ipswich and Barnsley tomorrow. Ipswich at Stockport, Barnsley at Port Vale. If both fail to win, then Charlton will be promoted tomorrow. But it looks as though they're going to have to wait at least until next Friday, when they're live again here on Sky Sports against Portsmouth. Let's have a word with the Charlton manager, Alan Curbishley. Good evening to you, Alan.
You right there?
I'm very well. How are you after that?
I'm okay. I mean, I think that I couldn't ask much more from them, except nick the goal. But you know, that you got to give credit to Huddersfield. They've came here, you know, they've took an onslaught. They've pinched their goal and defended magnificently. So you know, we can't be too disappointed in the way we played, but obviously disappointed we haven't done it.
Yeah, have you ever seen one of your sides create 25 opportunities in 90 minutes before and not convert one of them?
Not really, and I don't think we've gone away from home and end up pinching the 3 points, but that's football. You know, we said earlier, you know, all this talk about that we're up and we've done this, you know, if that was the case, you wouldn't have had anyone here watching it tonight. You know, that's what football's about. They've created little, got their goal and defended for their lives, and good luck to them.
Did you start to fear the worst after seeing so many chances come and go inside the first half an hour?
No, but I think if you're top side and you're at home, and we've faced this quite a bit this year, if you don't score and the other team happens to go and pinch one, then, you know, that's very difficult. You know, you come into the leaders' ground and it's something we've got to contend with. Now, we've been beat twice in the last 22 games. And we lost to Swindon. We're very, very similar. We didn't create as many chances, but it was very, very similar. And that happens sometimes.
You can still go up this weekend, of course, depending on what happens to Ipswich and Barnsley tomorrow. Would you be happy for results to go your way tomorrow, or deep down would you now rather do it yourselves at home to Portsmouth next Friday?
I hope we do it tomorrow.
You might say that.
You know, that's what we want. You know, we were hoping for that, but you know, we'll have a couple of days off and get ourselves right for next Friday. And if they perform like that, then that's all I ask. So if you ask any of my players, I ask them to give me a chance of winning the game, and they did tonight.
But potentially a few jittery days ahead for you, Alan.
We're not jittery. When you've got a 14-point gap, you're not jittery.
No, fair enough. Well, enjoy tonight if you possibly can, looking at the bright side, the created opportunities, and we'll of course see you this time next week for the home game against Portsmouth.
Okie doke. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you very much indeed, Alan.
Bye.
He says he's not jittery. Basically, he knows they're going up. It is just a matter of when. We thought it was going to be tonight, Nigel. I mean, there is no chance of them throwing it away at this stage.
Not at all. They are the best team. You're going to have results like this. You know, who would have thought they'd lose at home to Swindon 1-0 after they've gone 12 games, winning all of them in a row? But you know, you have games like this, you create all those chances, you just can't stick the ball in the back of the net. Huddersfield take credit, as Alan said, and Steve Bruce said, they defended very, very well, but they nicked the goal and held on to it, and that's good play. But it's just unfortunate that for Charlton that they couldn't break them down.
Yeah, I suppose there's every chance that against Portsmouth next week they'll play much worse and score 2 or 3 goals.
Yeah, I mean, Alan said it all there, really. You know, he couldn't ask any more from his players. They created chances. It wasn't his night, but he'll have the weekend off, get the lads ready for Friday, and that's the most important thing, the next game.
Let's have another look at the one goal that decided it tonight. Clyde Wijnhard, who has been struggling in front of goal recently, will enjoy watching this one time and time again, and I'm sure, Nigel, he'll be the first to thank Scott Sellars for his involvement as well.
Yeah, but as Paul said earlier, Scott Sellars has got a wonderful left foot. He picks people out, hits out at the far post. It's a good run from Wijnhard, away from the defender, Brown, but a fantastic finish on his right foot. You know, that takes a goal scorer's instinct to come in and power that in across the goalkeeper. And worthy winner, you know, for Huddersfield.
Do you think that Wijnhard's lack of goals recently is simply down to the fact that he lost his regular strike partner, Marcus Stuart, and has had to play with a series of other forwards in recent games?
Yeah, I think it does affect you. You know, you stop starting, but obviously you got the service tonight as well. He pulled away well. But yeah, sometimes it does affect that. But you know, afterwards in the interview, like he's a confident lad, isn't he? So I'm sure he'll score a few more goals before the end of the season.
And of course, the closest Charlton came to equalising was via a Huddersfield defender, the otherwise excellent Ken Monkou. who was just a little bit relieved, Nigel, when he looked up and saw that come back off the inside of the post.
Yeah, we were just interested to see the replay to see if it actually bounced over the line or not, but it doesn't. It's clear, and Vassen reacts well and picks it up. But I think you've got to say, as we've said all evening, is that Huddersfield got one up and then defended very, very well. They didn't allow Charlton to get too much behind them. They played quite deep, but Charlton kept plugging away, creating chances. It's just one of those nights, Marcus, which you get. And I think both managers are pleased with the way their teams have played. But Huddersfield obviously more pleased that they've got the 3 points. But for Charlton, next week can't come quick enough now. They just want to get those, 3 points and make sure they're promoted.
And probably no coincidence that since Ken Monkou's come back, they've kept successive clean sheets. He's a colossus at the heart of the defence, isn't he?
He is. He gets in the way of everything, but he's a big lad and he's dangerous in both penalty areas. But 4 clean sheets in 4 games, I think, that, as I've already said, that's what Steve would be pleased about, and they're nicking goals the other end. So if they get his strikers back fit,
yeah, I mean, that's where a lot of the confidence comes from. If you can defend and keep clean sheets and nick the goals up front, then it's that's what Charlton done all season.
Yeah. Well, Charlton on another night would have had 2 or 3 the likes of Svensson and Andy Hunt, who seems to struggle in front of his own supporters. Frustrating for him, but 24 altogether will make him a fairly happy fellow. But that's normally food and drink for a striker of his calibre, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he'll be disappointed with it. But like you said, he's scored goals, and he'll dust himself down and look forward to Friday and finish hopefully top scorer.
Richard Rufus tends not to score too many. He thought he'd scored tonight, but for another moment of brilliance from Nico Vassen.
Yeah, as Paul said earlier, Nico Vassen starts to come for this, decides he's not going to get there, goes back on his line and makes a very good save and pushes it around for another corner. But Richard Rufus actually scored 6 goals this season, Marcus, so he scored quite a few from set plays like that because he is a big lad. But all credit to Nico Vassen, got back on his line and pushed it around.
Yeah, well, let's have another look at tomorrow's fixtures, which of course take on rather more relevance after tonight's result. Birmingham behind Huddersfield after the Terriers' victory. Well, they play Nottingham Forest, a side that need points still themselves to move away from trouble. Blackburn against Portsmouth. Well, Graham Souness was watching tonight, but he'll surely admit that there's now no hope for Blackburn as far as the playoffs.
I thought it was a great advert again tonight, for this league. 2 teams very committed. Some good individual displays as well. But once again, it shows you what a difficult league it is,
Yeah, you can't predict anything. Crewe against Queen's Park Rangers. Crewe on a terrible run of results at the moment. Your old side Fulham at home to Sheffield United. I suppose they'll expect to win that one tomorrow.
Yeah, since they left, they got a good result against Crystal Palace at home. They went away at Tranmere, which wasn't easy, and got a result there. So, yeah, they'll be looking forward to get 3 points tomorrow.
Manchester City at Grimsby. Potential banana skin there, Nigel?
Well, you look at the one underneath that as well, Norwich, Wolves away at Norwich. I mean, they're both away from home, tricky games. But Paul and I were saying earlier, every game now, from now on in, for anybody, it's going to be a tricky game. You're either fighting to avoid relegation, or you're trying to get in the playoff place, or you're trying to get automatic promotion. They're all big games. There's still plenty to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. You said they're Norwich, Wolves, Port Vale against Barnsley.
Yeah.
Stockport,
Ipswich away as well. If you look, Man City, Wolves, Barnsley, Ipswich, all away from home.
Swindon, desperate to win tomorrow to attempt to keep themselves alive for another few days at least. Walsall against Crystal Palace. That's a big game really, because Walsall's struggling badly and Crystal Palace not safe yet, are they?
Well, another 24 hours and the table will look completely different again,
And West Brom against Bolton. Bolton, who've had so much disappointment already this season, having lost 2 cup semi-finals. Surely they're not going to sneak into the playoffs and then lose the playoff final. I don't think even a hard man like Sam Allardyce could take that. Let's hear from John Robinson. I'm sure he's very disappointed this evening. He's now talking with Alan Bentley.
John, do you write that off as simply one of those nights?
Yeah, a bit like the Swindon game really. They win a goal up and got men behind the ball. And as I say, we had the chances. I think they've had 3 all 90 minutes. Great finish, to be honest, from Clavers. Great finish. Great balling from Scott. So we just got to get ourselves up and look forward to next Friday.
There seemed to be this overwhelming desire to win right from the word go. Do you think on occasion you stopped doing the things you were good at?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we were into a shape in the second half that it wasn't really us. But we were trying to get forward, trying to get that goal back. And then when it gets to the last 10 or 15 minutes, it's just hell for leather, really. And it's not really us, but it showed. I think that was probably the best we've played. Probably for, say, almost all season. Curbs has said that we played some fantastic football first half and we were just unlucky. But as I say, we can't keep saying we're unlucky against Swindon and Huddersfield. They came round, set the shape, and I thought they worked very, very hard because they need the points as well.
Was there a stage when you thought, hang on, this isn't going to come tonight?
I think when who was it that hit the? I put
Ken
the ball
Monkou.
in. Yeah, Ken Monkou. He's hit the ball. It's gone down. It's come straight back out again, and he's wellied it away. So you think it could be one of them nights. The keeper played well, put some decent saves in the second half, but we've got to take the chances all round. We were sloppy on the goal that we give away. It was, as I say, it was a great ball in, but we've got to kill it from source. So little things like that, and we work on things like that in training. So that's what makes it even more disappointing. I mean, I thought last Saturday was bad at the Forest after the dressing room after the Forest game, but tonight is just unbelievable.
But surely this only delays the inevitable.
We can't keep saying that though. We can't keep saying delays the inevitable. We've got to get the points or whatever. I mean, obviously tomorrow the other three. The best thing is they know they've all got to win. They can't drop any more points. Otherwise, I think we're up. So, but we want to do it on ourselves. We want to give it to the own fans here. We don't want to go anywhere else. We want to prolong it or anything. But as I say, it doesn't matter until it's mathematically impossible for them to catch us. He showed what Huddersfield can do, and the other three have probably got a nice lift from this evening and got the tails up for tomorrow.
Well, it could be a good Friday for you next week.
Let's hope so. It's a good Saturday tomorrow.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Pleasure.
Well, he says they can't keep saying that they're delaying the inevitable, but they are just delaying the inevitable. And interesting to hear him say there that they probably haven't played as well as that for some time.
Yeah, that's sometimes the way it goes with football. You play well and you lose, but they're playing badly next week and getting a result like Huddersfield did tonight. We know 1-0 will do them, but hopefully for all of them it happened tomorrow. And then they can go into the game next Friday and just enjoy it.
So you think as well that Huddersfield have now guaranteed their playoff?
No, not guaranteed yet. I think, if Wolves win tomorrow, if Bolton win tomorrow, it's still there to play for. But I think they're on a good roll at the moment and going into maybe into the playoffs in good form.
Yeah, it's a good time to hit form. You can tell by the reaction from Alan and Robinson there that how disappointed they are, because they want to do it in front of the home fans. But, like I said, 24 hours, it might change again and there might be all smiles again.
Absolutely. All right, Paul, thanks very much for joining us
tonight.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you once again, Nigel. Plenty still to come, of course. Charlton's night, but the champagne has to stay in the fridge for another few hours at least. From us all, for now, it is goodbye.
Hush now, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up toward your destination.